Chapter 1500. The Death God guards who had invaded the Light Clan's divine kingdom had been killed. But the loophole still existed, and Twilight Valley's struggle with the Heaven's Legacy race was not over. This divine kingdom was of an incredibly high level. Other than Twilight Valley, no one else had the ability to completely repair the hole. But Twilight Valley was completely focused on resisting the invasion of the Heaven's Legacy race and could not afford to be distracted. On the side, Zhao Feng was immersed in the primal chaos scripture. An ocean of information floated into his mind. As for the heaven-mending race's ability to mend space, there wasn't a detailed introduction, and it was even a bit chaotic. After all, the primal chaos scripture was mainly an inheritance of techniques and combat skills. Thus, it was rather difficult for Zhao Feng to learn the heaven-mending race's spatial repair methods. Even so, Zhao Feng still wanted to study it. So, the heaven-mending race repairing the fan universe is also a kind of cultivation. Zhao Feng understood that when the heaven-mending race used the power of primal chaos to mend the space of the fan universe, it was also a kind of cultivation comprehension. The entire fan universe could be said to have been born from boundless primal chaos energy. While studying and comprehending these things, Zhao Feng split a portion of his mind to browse through the information he had plundered from the Heavenly Demon Hall. It contained all the major and minor events that had taken place in the Chixing region over the past millions or even hundreds of millions of years. Of course, the most detailed information was the most recent period of time. This included the secret information of the five-star forces and even the Holy Lands in the Chixing region, as well as many secrets that no one knew about. Zhao Feng suddenly discovered some information related to the giant god race. After browsing through it, Zhao Feng's expression changed drastically. As it turned out, the illusion god's sacred land had helped Giant God Hall time and time again in order to lower Giant God Hall's guard. Many members of the illusion god race had secretly infiltrated Giant God Hall and were monitoring its every move. His true goal was the ninth god eye. Zhao Feng also had some understanding of the illusion god race. It was an extremely powerful ancient race that was ever-changing, crafty, and skilled at infiltration and disguise. You really can't judge a book by its cover. Zhao Feng's face darkened. From Xen Wuheng's words, he could tell that Xen Wuheng trusted the illusion god's sacred land. I have to inform Xen Wuheng. Zhao Feng's eyes lit up. He did not know if the illusion god race's spies had noticed him when he entered Giant God Hall. But at this moment, he had to tell Xen Wuheng about this. At this moment, rumble. A loud rumble echoed throughout the entire divine kingdom. Not good, there are experts outside attacking the god nation. Twilight Valley grimaced. Even though he and the Heaven's Legacy race kept each other in check and were evenly matched. However, the Heaven's Legacy race was too powerful and could move freely outside the divine kingdom. At this moment, they had dispatched a few members to attack Twilight Valley's divine kingdom. Although Twilight Valley could move the divine kingdom in this situation, it would not be very fast, so it probably wouldn't have much effect. Under the bombardment of the experts from the outside world, the divine kingdom was gradually affected, and the whole continued to expand. Based on Zhao Feng's judgment, the Heaven's Legacy race could have already sent in a God Lord expert, but they had not done so. They want to expand the loophole to a certain extent so that they can build a space tunnel and enter the Light Clan's divine kingdom freely. Twilight Valley squeezed out a few words from his tightly shut lips. Zhao Feng was alarmed. If this happened, they would be turtles in a jar. We can only ask Giant God Hall for help. On the side, ancient god Qing Yun was worried. The Light race had temporarily allied with Giant God Hall. Now that the Light race divine kingdom was in danger, Giant God Hall had a duty to lend a hand. Let me do it. I just happen to have something to tell Xen Wuheng. Zhao Feng said, and then he took out a message token. We only have 6 days. If Xen Wuheng doesn't get here by then, it'll be too late. Twilight Valley's expression was grim. Giant God Hall. On this day, the extremely authoritative God Lord Dreamcolor had personally descended upon the illusion god's sacred land. This action once more intimidated the other 5-star factions of the Chixing Zone, making them temporarily afraid to provoke Giant God Hall. Giant God Hall is honored that God Lord Dreamcolor has personally come. Xen Wuheng personally came to greet God Lord Dreamcolor. God Lord Dreamcolor had an extremely high status in the illusion god's sacred land. She was a third heaven, and in terms of bloodline purity and talent, she was the most outstanding member of the illusion god race in the last 100 million years. Of course, God Lord Dreamcolor's beauty was also extremely famous in the Chixing Zone. The men of Giant God Hall stared at God Lord Dreamcolor in the sky. Although it was impossible to see her face in the white mist, her voluptuous figure was visible for all to see. The upper echelon members of Giant God Hall welcomed the illusion god's sacred land party into the central hall. The two sides exchanged a few pleasantries. Might I ask why God Lord Dreamcolor has come this time? Xen Wuheng went straight to the point. Giant God Hall is a newly established 5-star faction of the Chixing Zone. I have come to see how Giant God Hall is doing. God Lord Dreamcolor's elegant voice rang out. Everything is on the right track. In every aspect, Giant God Hall is on par with the other 5-star factions of the Chixing Zone. Xen Wuheng said with a smile. Before Ancient God Hall was devoured by the Ancient Soul race, the illusion god's sacred land had treated the Giant God race rather well. Now that Giant God Hall had been established, the illusion god's sacred land had provided assistance many times, and Xen Wuheng was extremely grateful. In addition, I know that Hall Master Xian has some connection to the 9th God Eye, but the implications of the 9th God Eye are too great. If Giant God Hall has a connection to it, the illusion god's sacred land won't be able to do much. God Lord Dreamcolor's voice was pleasant to the ear. She seemed to be worried that the 9th God Eye would bring trouble to Giant God Hall. This Xen also understands this point. Xen Wuheng flatly said. If Hall Master Xen still has a relationship with the 9th God Eye, the illusion god's sacred land can be your protective umbrella. God Lord Dreamcolor continued, her tone brimming with friendliness. Xen Wuheng was just about to reply when he received a message. Zhao Feng's voice rang out in his mind. Xen Wuheng's expression turned grave for a moment. God Lord Dreamcolor also noticed the subtle change in Xen Wuheng's expression. In truth, she had come to see what was going on. The barrier around Xen Wuheng's seclusion area had suddenly opened and then closed. The illusion god race spies had not seen anyone enter, so there was definitely something fishy going on. Moreover, the lackey of the Heaven's Legacy race had been killed in Thunderstorm Canyon. God Lord Dreamcolor sensed that there was some sort of connection, so she had personally come to Giant God Hall. God Lord Dreamcolor, this Xen still has matters to attend to and must leave. Xen Wuheng suddenly said. He had already learned everything from Zhao Feng, which left him rather helpless. Now that the Light Race Divine Kingdom was asking for help, Xen Wuheng needed to go to its aid. But Giant God Hall was filled with spies from the illusion god's sacred land, so it would be rather difficult for him to secretly leave. Since this was the case, Xen Wuheng decided to get straight to the point. Hall Master Xen is in such a hurry to leave. What is it? God Lord Dreamcolor immediately asked in alarm. A good friend of mine is in danger and just sent me a request for help. Xen Wuheng simply said. God Lord Dreamcolor naturally could not stop this situation. After all, a God Lord's life was at stake. God Lord Dreamcolor led her members out of Giant God Hall. Xen Wuheng and the Grand Elder set off for the Light Race Divine Kingdom. Lady Dreamcolor, the good friend Xen Wuheng spoke of, should be from the Light Race. A yellow-robed man next to her whispered. The illusion god's sacred land had some understanding of the relationship between the Light Race experts and Giant God Hall. Follow him and see what's going on. God Lord Dreamcolor softly said, and then her body vanished into the white mist. The yellow-robed man replied. But he was rather depressed. Following Xen Wuheng was no easy task. Wasn't the illusion god's sacred land's goal the 9th God Eye? Why did they still have to keep an eye on Xen Wuheng and the Light Race? Within the Light Race Divine Kingdom, broom. Loud noises rang out one after another, and the hole gradually expanded. Twilight Valley resisted with all his might, but he could not stop it. This was already the 5th day. At this point, the hole was probably large enough for 3 second Heaven God Lords to enter. Xen Wuheng is here, Zhao Feng suddenly said. But Twilight Valley was elated. Boom, bang, crash. The sounds of battle could be heard from outside the Divine Kingdom. According to Xen Wuheng's information, there were 2 top-class Second Heaven God Lords outside. Although Xen Wuheng and the Grand Elder could not win, they could slow down the expansion of the whole. Half a day later, Senior Twilight Valley, it's time to end this. At this moment, Zhao Feng stood up. Okay, it's up to you. Twilight Valley's eyes flashed. He also knew that Zhao Feng had obtained the legacy of the heaven-mending race. Zhao Feng had been studying the techniques and knowledge of repairing space this entire time. It seemed like Zhao Feng had made some progress in his studies and was confident in repairing the whole. Swish! Zhao Feng vanished and reappeared at the hole in the light race Divine Kingdom. With a flip of his palm, primal chaos energy surged out. Creation of all things. Zhao Feng extended a hand, and the primal chaos energy slowly flowed into the hole in space. The technique for repairing the hole mainly relied on the ability of primal chaos energy to create all things. Buzz. Bzz. This primal chaos energy appeared in the hole and began to spread out. Various types of energy began to ripple through the primal chaos energy, including space, water, wood, and more. This energy began to fuse with the area around the hole. It didn't take long before Zhao Feng repaired the hole. Success! Zhao Feng faintly smiled. After all, it was just a hole, not some large hole or shattered space. It wasn't very difficult to repair. At the same time, in another mysterious dimension, what? Hole? Yu Liuping's arms trembled. He did his best to stop it, but the hole was gradually being repaired. It's still a divine kingdom with a master. It's too difficult, Yu Liuping sighed. At the same time, he sent out a message for all the God Lords near the light race divine kingdom to retreat and wait for the next opportunity. At this moment, God Lord Stellar Aspect appeared in this dimension. Your Excellency, according to a reliable source, the 9th God Eye appeared in the Tongtai Zone some time ago and obtained the legacy of the heaven-mending race. God Lord Stellar Aspect excitedly said. Hearing this, Yu Liuping's expression froze. His eyes widened as a formless oppressive aura spread out uncontrollably. Chapter 1501. Your Excellency, according to a reliable source, the 9th God Eye appeared in the Tongtai Zone a while ago and obtained the legacy of the heaven-mending race. God Lord Stellar Aspect excitedly said. Hearing this, Yu Liuping's expression froze. His eyes widened as a formless oppressive aura spread out uncontrollably. It's him! Zhao Feng. Yu Liuping found it difficult to conceal his excitement. Based on the various clues, the person most connected to Yu Heng's death was Zhao Feng. And the person Yu Liuping wanted to kill the most was Zhao Feng. The light race was just a temporary target for his vengeance. If you stayed by the Heaven Lord's side, I wouldn't have been able to kill you, but now that you've delivered yourself to me, I'll make you wish you were dead. Yu Liuping's voice was cold and gloomy. Your Excellency, based on the information we received, Zhao Feng obtained the legacy of the heaven-mending race in the Tongtai Zone. His strength has increased significantly, and he might already be approaching the third heaven. God Lord Stellar Aspect's eyes were dark as he spoke after a few moments of thought. When Bai Minghui captured Zhao Feng had displayed incredible strength. Later on, Zhao Feng had made all sorts of requests in the Heaven's Legacy Race Divine Kingdom to increase his strength, and now he had obtained the legacy of the heaven-mending race. From this, God Lord Stellar Aspect speculated that Zhao Feng's strength was already approaching the third heaven. Oh, as expected of the 9th God Eye. Yu Liuping gradually calmed down. Although he desperately wanted revenge, he would not lose his mind. If Zhao Feng's strength was close to the third heaven, then the light races Twilight Valley and Xen Wuheng would be rather troublesome to deal with. Crucially, the illusion god Sacred Land was also eyeing the 9th God Eye and was closely monitoring the Qixing Zone. If they directly attacked the light race Divine Kingdom, they would definitely attract the attention of the Sacred Land, which would put them in an extremely unfavorable situation. Rather than attacking, it's better to have the Sacred Land take the lead. Yu Liuping called out. Gradually, he closed his eyes and began his divination. He could not predict the ninth god eye, but he could invisibly influence the other factions of the Chixing Zone, including the Sacred Land. The illusion god's Sacred Land had many spies in the Chixing Zone, and Yu Luping grasped the Destiny Dao, allowing him to cleverly divulge information to a crucial member. Illusion's Sacred Land. Within the ring-shaped palace, God Lord Dreamcolor received this message and immediately stood up. "Keep this a secret. Don't tell anyone else." God Lord Dreamcolor warned her confidant, and then she contacted the yellow-robed man. The yellow-robed man was the illusion god race divine master who had been following Xen Wuheng. He was currently near the light race divine kingdom. There are two unknown god lord experts. Their bloodline compatibility is rather low, so they were probably implanted later on. They might be members of the Heaven's legacy race. The yellow-robed man transmitted his voice. Upon knowing this, God Lord Dreamcolor was almost certain that the ninth god eye was hidden within the light race's divine kingdom. The ninth god eye was actually hidden in the territory of the light race. Xen Wuheng going to rescue the light race was just a facade. The true rescuer was the ninth god eye. In addition, the Heaven's legacy race faction hidden in the Chixing Zone isn't as weak as I imagined. God Lord Dreamcolor became pensive. If she wanted to get involved with the Heaven's legacy race, she needed to think things through carefully. For such an important piece of news to suddenly arrive was no coincidence. It was likely that the Heaven's legacy race had pushed for it. A little while later, several figures appeared in the hall. "You know the whereabouts of the ninth god eye. Is this information reliable?" A devilish man with violet hair said in an eccentric tone. "Dreamcolor, tell us the situation." A slightly plump old woman with blue hair said. The others also appeared expectant. "What about God Lord Night Rain?" God Lord Dreamcolor asked. God Lord Night Rain was a third heaven expert of the previous generation of the Sacred Land and was extremely powerful. "He just happened to be traveling," the old woman calmly said. "Okay, then I'll get straight to the point." "Okay, then I'll get straight to the point. The ninth god eye is in the light race's divine kingdom, but there might be a faction of the Heaven's legacy race hiding in the shadows." God Lord Dreamcolor's expression was indifferent as her voice echoed through the hall. They're underestimating the illusion god's Sacred Land too much. The Heaven's legacy race faction was destroyed in Thunderstorm Canyon, so the members of the Heaven's legacy race hiding in the shadows can't be that strong. The upper echelon members softly discussed. This was the Chixing Zone. The illusion god's Sacred Land did not fear any faction, but the Heaven's legacy race was full of schemes, so they needed to be careful. After a long while, they came up with a plan. "Should we notify Lord Nethercloud?" The bewitching man suddenly asked. "Once we're sure that the ninth god eye really is in the light race divine kingdom, we can notify him," God Lord Dreamcolor firmly said. God King Nethercloud was the strongest expert of the illusion god's Sacred Land. Some time ago, when news of the ninth god eye came out of the Tongtai Zone, God King Nethercloud left. Although they couldn't be sure that the ninth god eye was in the Tongtai Zone, they had searched the Chixing Zone for so many years that they were almost certain that the ninth god eye was not in the Chixing Zone. "Move out. Secretly mobilize our forces," God Lord Dreamcolor ordered. Many members of the illusion god's Sacred Land received this secret message and began to move out. Within the light race divine kingdom, Twilight Valley breathed a sigh of relief and smiled at Zhao Feng. It was all thanks to Zhao Feng that the two of them worked together to seal the hole and put an end to the Heaven's legacy race's plans. Twilight Valley originally planned to leave the Chixing Zone for a while. But with Zhao Feng here, he could repair the hole, so there was no need to fear the invasion of the Heaven's legacy race. Twilight Valley seated himself cross-legged next to the Tree of Time and entered a state of cultivation. His battle with Yu Luping had consumed a great deal of his mind. As for Zhao Feng, he entered seclusion for a short period of time. He truly had gained new insights in his first attempt at repairing the spatial hole. He was now at the peak of the first heaven. If he had any new insights, it was best to stop everything else and cultivate them. If things went well, he might be able to smoothly break into the second heaven. Within the space-time robe, the little thieving cat, the black destruction dragon, and the others had obtained the resources of the ancient Soul Hall Master and were also cultivating in seclusion. The ancient Soul Hall Master was a god lord of a 5-star faction, and he was also in cahoots with the Heaven's Legacy race, so he had many resources. Within the Light Race Divine Kingdom, Exen Wuheng and the Grand Elder decided to stay for a few months. If nothing strange happened, they would leave. However, just half a month later, Exen Wuheng and the Grand Elder suddenly sensed several powerful auras rapidly approaching. The two stood up and explained the situation to Zhao Feng and Twilight Valley. Soon, a group of people emerged from the void and appeared in front of them. Everyone from the illusion god's sacred land, why have you come here? Exen Wuheng stepped forward and asked. However, he had a bad feeling. The illusion god's sacred land had probably learned of the 9th God Eye. Perhaps the spies the illusion god's sacred land had placed in Giant God Hall sensed something when Zhao Feng entered. Exen Wuheng, I didn't think that you would hide it from the sacred land and secretly collude with the 9th God Eye. God Lord Dreamcolor's expression was gloomy as she called out. Your actions will bring a severe disaster to Giant God Hall and even the Chixing Zone. A blue-haired old woman stepped forward. Work with us and capture the 9th God Eye, and the sacred land will not pursue this matter any further. The bewitching man spoke in a soft and sinister voice. At this moment, the illusion god's sacred land had made everything clear and was brimming with energy. Of the three who spoke, God Lord Dreamcolor and the blue-haired old woman were third heaven god lords, the highest authority in the sacred land beneath God King Nethercloud. The bewitching man was a peak second heaven, and from how he was standing shoulder to shoulder with the other 2 third heavens, his strength could not be underestimated. Exen Wuheng and the Grand Elder felt their hearts thump in fear under the pressure of the illusion god's sacred land's god lords. When God Lord Dreamcolor saw the hesitation in Exen Wuheng and the Grand Elder's eyes, she was even more certain that the 9th God Eye was within the Light Race's divine kingdom. Make your choice, Exen Wuheng. The fate of Giant God Hall rests in your hands. God Lord Dreamcolor's cold voice was completely different from the warm care she had shown Giant God Hall before. Exen Wuheng and the Grand Elder grimaced. The illusion god's sacred land had made everything clear and was even using Giant God Hall to threaten them. At this moment, swish! A spatial vortex appeared near Exen Wuheng and the Grand Elder. Go in! Exen Wuheng called out as he entered the Light Race's divine kingdom with the Grand Elder. He had used his actions to make his choice clear. Exen Wuheng, you will regret your choice. God Lord Dreamcolor's eyes were cold and harsh. She truly had not expected Exen Wuheng to make such a choice. Meanwhile, in the Light Race's divine kingdom, Exen Wuheng and the Grand Elder appeared in the Light Race's forbidden ground. Brother Zhao, Giant God Hall has harmed you this time. Exen Wuheng sighed. Without Zhao Feng's help, Giant God Hall would have never been established. Thus, Exen Wuheng would rather put Giant God Hall in danger than sell out Zhao Feng. Moreover, he was extremely displeased by the illusion god's sacred land's actions. When he made his decision, he had sent out a message for all the members of Giant God Hall to enter the divine kingdom and prepare to move. Not necessarily. Perhaps it was the Heaven's Legacy race's doing. Zhao Feng's expression was indifferent, and he showed no sign of blame. He speculated that the Heaven's Legacy race was the first to discover his identity. But now, it was the illusion god's sacred land that was attacking. In addition, the current situation was not very bad. It would be extremely easy for Zhao Feng to leave this place. Crucially, Exen Wuheng and the members of the Light Race would not be able to avoid this calamity. In addition, Giant God Hall's relocation would require time. Relax. They won't be able to attack in a short time. Twilight Valley said. The Light Race's divine kingdom was of an extremely high level, and the illusion god's sacred land did not seem to have sent any God King experts. Moreover, Zhao Feng had the heaven-mending race's ability to mend space. In short, the current situation could not be considered very bad. Everyone, use the resources of the Light Race divine kingdom as you please. Twilight Valley generously said. But in truth, only Zhao Feng, Exen Wuheng, the Grand Elder, and a few others had entered. Although the sacred land was powerful, these people were not weak either. If they used this chance to increase their strength and cultivation, they would have a greater chance of dealing with the upcoming danger. Zhao Feng also entered the Dream Divine Kingdom and began to use his authority to expand his faction. The ancient Dream Realm had no lack of races in the top 50 or even the top 20, and they had quite a few godlords. At this moment, boom, bang, crash, one massive explosion after another resounded through the Light Race Divine Kingdom. The Illusion God's Sacred Land had begun its attack. In the outside world, the Illusion God's Sacred Land's ancient gods, 7 or 8 first and second heaven godlords, were attacking the Light Race Divine Kingdom. God Lord Dreamcolor and the others floated in the sky, not doing anything. On the side, several array masters were laying down an offensive array. How long will it take to break through? God Lord Dreamcolor calmly asked. This divine kingdom is extremely stable and has an owner. It will take around half a month. An array master replied. Half a month is too long. God Lord Dreamcolor snorted as she charged forward. The blue-haired old woman followed closely behind. The 2/3 heaven godlords suddenly attacked the Light Race Divine Kingdom. The illusory world around the Light Race Divine Kingdom began to tremble. Chapter 1502. Inside the Divine Kingdom, everyone felt the world tremble, and they felt uneasy. They were keenly aware of the sacred land's strength. There were 2/3 heaven godlords leading the group, 8 first and second heaven godlords, and many half-step godlords and top-class ancient god experts. However, this was not the full strength of the Holy Land. It was just the manpower that they had mobilized in a short period of time. There were still people left behind in the Illusion God Sacred Land, and God King Nethercloud of the Illusion God Sacred Land had not appeared. I'm afraid that within 10 days, the God Nation will be breached. Twilight Valley was most familiar with the state of the Light Race's divine kingdom. Even under the influence of the time law, they could only cultivate for around 1,000 days at most. To godlords, this amount of time was far too short. During this time, Zhao Feng immersed himself in the primal chaos scripture, cultivating his chaotic force. His understanding of the chaos power was still lacking compared to that of Bai Minghui and the others, as he had only just started learning it not too long ago. In addition, he placed another part of his mind on the Dream God Eye. To Zhao Feng's surprise, his Dream God Eye seemed to be much stronger than when it first evolved, as if it was still in the process of evolving. Of course, this could just be Zhao Feng's misperception. Perhaps it was because the God's spiritual eye had just evolved to the God Eye level and its usage and understanding weren't deep enough. After all, a God Eye was theoretically the highest level. The 10 days were fast approaching. The continuous rumbling didn't stop. They will attack sooner or later. Why don't we take the initiative to open an entrance? Zhao Feng suddenly spoke. Everyone was stunned. Taking the initiative to let the enemy in sounded ridiculous, but what Zhao Feng said was correct. After all, the Holy Land would attack sooner or later, so it was better to let them in to prevent the Divine Kingdom from being destroyed. All right. Twilight Valley nodded. Outside, the people of the Holy Land, who were attacking the Light Clan's Divine Kingdom, suddenly felt the fluctuation of space law. Poof, their point of attack was automatically torn apart, forming an opening. Through the gap, everyone could see what was happening in the Divine Kingdom. He actually took the initiative to open his Divine Kingdom. Be careful, it might be a trap. The turbid eyes of the blue-haired old woman flickered with a faint light. Get ready, we're going in. God Lord Dreamcolor naturally thought of this. Since the God Nation had opened its doors, they couldn't possibly refuse to enter. As long as they were careful, their side's strength would definitely be enough to crush the other side. Yes. All the members of the Illusion God Sacred Land below the God Lord level began to take up arrays. Only this way would they be of use in the upcoming battle. It wasn't long before the entire Illusion God's Sacred Land charged into the Light Race's Divine Kingdom. Stop! After advancing for a while, God Lord Dreamcolor suddenly ordered. In the distance, thick heaven-earth Yuan Qi was surging like water, and the surroundings were shrouded in mist. Even the divine sense of a third heaven God Lord was greatly affected, making it impossible to see what was going on. This is obviously something the ruler of the divine nations can do. There might be an ambush inside. God Lord Dreamcolor called out. They had to be careful in the enemy's divine kingdom. Let me see what tricks they have up their sleeves. The bewitching man took the initiative to ask for permission. All right. God Lord Dreamcolor nodded. The bewitching man was at the peak of the second heaven. His strength was formidable, and his usage of the illusion path far surpassed hers. In addition, the bewitching man had a secret technique that was perfect for leading the charge. A little while later, the bewitching man led 4 first heaven god lords forward. At this moment, swoosh swoosh, Xen Wuheng, the Grand Elder, God Lord Qing Yun, and several half-step God Lord Light Race descendants charged out of the fog. Xen Wuheng, I don't know where you get the courage to oppose a sacred land. The bewitching man grunted. He went to meet Xen Wuheng. The other members of the two sides also clashed. As they fought, ice, lightning, light, and fire filled the world. The earth shattered and the clouds in the sky churned. Xen Wuheng, today, I will end you here. The bewitching man roared, his body becoming ethereal and covered in a layer of 5-colored light. On the other side, Xen Wuheng activated his giant god race bloodline, transforming into a 10,000-foot giant that exuded an immense pressure. In terms of bloodline, the illusion god race was a little higher than the giant god race, and in terms of cultivation and strength, the bewitching man was also stronger than Xen Wuheng. Xen Wuheng, on the other hand, was extremely apprehensive of the bewitching man. In the fog, Zhao Feng did not attack, only observed the battle. He was the 9th god eye. Once he appeared, the illusion god's sacred land might even launch an all-out attack. Although Xen Wuheng's group is currently at a disadvantage, the Light Race Divine Kingdom has the advantage of both time and place. Zhao Feng was not worried. At this moment, Twilight Valley was in the core of the Divine Kingdom, controlling the situation. Under his control, the Heaven-Earth Yuan Qi automatically flowed into the bodies of his own people, making it easier to mobilize the energy of the world. In contrast, the enemy side was weakened in various aspects. The longer the battle dragged on, the more advantageous it was for Zhao Feng's side. Die! A silver fan appeared in the bewitching man's hand. As he waved it, a silver whirlwind howled forward. This silver whirlwind blew out countless specks of silver starlight, which began to scatter into the surroundings like starlight powder. This is the power of the illusion Tao. When Xen Wuheng touched some of the silver starlight, he felt it invade his soul. The amount of silver starlight invading his soul was relatively small, but the people fighting nearby were more affected. For a moment, everyone's soul intents were affected, and all aspects of their abilities went haywire. Even with Twilight Valley's secret help, they were gradually on the back foot. The giant god race and light race's forces were on the back foot, and many people were already injured, including Xen Wuheng. After all, the enemy he was facing far surpassed him in every aspect. Moreover, the bewitching man was still concerned about the overall situation. In the rear, the illusion god's sacred land members couldn't help but smile. Not bad. You understand how to take control of the overall situation. God Lord Dreamcolor's lips curled into a soul-stirring smile. They were in the light while the enemy was in the shadows. What the illusion god's sacred land needed to do was use the smallest price to break through the enemy's plans. On the other side of the fog, Senior Twilight Valley, prepare to counterattack. Zhao Feng smiled faintly. Before opening the Light Race Divine Kingdom, they had discussed and made their preparations. BZZ. Intent rippled through Zhao Feng's left eye, and a dreamy light suddenly surged out. At the same time, a mark on the souls of all the members on his side began to flash with dazzling light. This was the God Eye mark that Zhao Feng had placed on them. Suddenly, soul energy that could destroy all things surged out of the God Eye mark. The moment this soul energy appeared, the silver starlight invading their bodies was immediately destroyed, and everyone's soul consciousness was restored. At the same time, the world suddenly changed and the pressure on the enemy suddenly increased. An invisible gravity and the influence of space-time energy descended upon their bodies. The lower one's cultivation, the greater the effect. This was the Light Race Divine Kingdom, and Twilight Valley had the ability to change the world and control time and space. Counterattack! Xian Wuheng roared. Everyone's eyes flashed as they exploded with even greater strength under the support of the world energy. As for the illusion god's sacred land's side, they were caught off guard by this sudden development. Even Xian Wuheng seemed to have a slight advantage in a direct clash with the bewitching man. From this, one could see just how powerful the suppression of space was. The illusion god's sacred land's forces grimaced at this one-sided situation. It's time for this old woman to act. The blue-haired old woman suddenly said, "Bzz." With a wave of her hand, an array that she had prepared long ago appeared. One could faintly make out a golden jade silk cloth in the center of the array. When the formation was activated, a powerful nomological energy was released from it and seeped into the surrounding space. The bewitching man in the middle of battle rejoiced. What's going on? The amplification of the world has weakened. Xian Wuheng sensed that something was wrong. The others also felt the same way. The light race divine kingdom's amplification had weakened, and so had the suppression on the enemy. The illusion god's sacred land has laid down a special array that's affecting my control over the light race divine kingdom. Twilight Valley's voice resounded in the minds of Xian Wuheng, Zhao Feng, and the others. Of course, the illusion god's sacred land's special array could only affect a certain range, not the entire divine kingdom. But this was enough. It only needed to affect the battle between the two sides. It seems like the illusion god's sacred land has made ample preparations. Zhao Feng muttered in the fog. Although the blue-haired old woman was not participating in the battle, her role was the same as Twilight Valley's, affecting the entire battlefield. Zhao Feng's gaze fell on the golden jade silk cloth in the center of the array. That's a space ancestral artifact fragment. A glimmer of light flashed through Zhao Feng's eyes. Within the space-time robe, Zhao Feng's space ancestral artifact fragment trembled. It was clear that these two fragments belonged to the same ancestral artifact. At the same time, several figures appeared outside the light race divine kingdom. Your Excellency, when should we act? God Lord Stellar Aspect messaged. Yu Liuping's eyes were half closed as he did his utmost to calculate. After a long while, he finally said, "There's no rush. The two sides are only in the initial clash. Neither side has used up much energy. Your Excellency, if we don't inform the Heaven Lord, will?" God Lord Stellar Aspect was rather worried. The leader of the Heaven's legacy race was the Heaven Lord, and they had discovered the ninth God Eye but had not reported it to him. The Heaven Lord's plan originally had nothing to do with the ninth God Eye. The appearance of the ninth God Eye was just an accident. Even without the ninth God Eye, I am confident that the Heaven Lord will still succeed. Yu Liuping calmly said. Before the ninth God Eye had even appeared, the Heaven's legacy race was already carrying out its plan, and it was nearing the end. Of course, the most important reason was that he wanted to kill Zhao Feng to avenge his grandson. If the Heaven Lord learned of this matter, he would probably capture Zhao Feng, not kill him. On the other hand, this ninth God Eye is a massive variable. If we can't use it, it's best to kill it so that it doesn't affect our grand plan. If the Heaven Lord wants to punish us, I will bear all responsibility. Yu Liuping added. God Lord Stellar Aspect relaxed a little at Yu Liuping's words. At this moment, Yu Liuping's eyes flashed. The divine illusion's sacred land is about to take the offensive a step further. Chapter 1503. Within the light race divine kingdom, the moment the blue-haired old woman took action, the tide of the battle shifted. The sacred land had regained control of the situation and begun to counterattack. But this was not the end. All of you, join the battle as well. God Lord Dreamcolor looked at the half-step God Lords and top-class ancient gods. They had long ago taken up positions, and if they worked together, they would be extremely powerful. Kaboom! Several dozen members immediately took control of the three arrays and began to move toward the battlefield. Each array had at least 7 or 8 top-class experts beneath the God Lord level. When they worked together, the power they could exert through the arrays was much stronger than a First Heaven God Lord. This also meant that the participation of these experts was equivalent to having 3 top-class First Heaven experts on their side. This kind of power was enough to instantly increase the sacred land's advantage and crush its foes. Let me see what other moves you have. God Lord Dreamcolor stared forward. She had these ancient gods and half-step god lords join the battle to force out the enemy's other moves. Although the sacred land was powerful, this was the enemy's territory, and they could not be careless. God Lord Dreamcolor did not underestimate her foes and strictly commanded the battle. The giant god race and light race's eyes dimmed as the three arrays descended on the battlefield, but they did not panic. In the fog, Zhao Feng smiled. It's time for you to enter the field. Swish, swish, swish. The space-time robe fluttered, and then Zhao Feng's three clones appeared. At this time, Zhao Kong, Zhao Wang, and Zhao Wan were all first heaven godlords. Zhao Wang and Zhao Wan had only recently become godlords and had yet to experience a major battle. This was the perfect time to temper them. The three charged out of the fog to reinforce the light race and giant god race. These three are? The bewitching man was confused. Their intelligence reports did not include these three. At this moment, Zhao Feng's three clones used the power of their eye bloodlines. Extreme Space Blade. Death Spear. Sharp Metal Sword. The three clones activated their eye bloodlines, unleashing powerful eye bloodline techniques at the three arrays the sacred land had sent out. They're all God Eye descendants? The bewitching man was alarmed. He even wondered if these three were part of the faction of some God Eye descendant, but when did the giant god race and light race get involved with such a faction? They actually have such a helper? God Lord Dreamcolor had not expected for the enemy to come up with such a plan. In normal circumstances, the bloodline of the descendants of the 8 great god eyes was thinner than that of the descendants of the illusion god race. But these three were all extremely powerful, especially Zhao Kong. He had been the first to become a god lord, and he even had the quasi-god eye of spacetime. Their opponents, however, were just a group of ancient gods and half-step god lords in an array. The enemy's unexpected response made God Lord Dreamcolor even more cautious. She did not rashly give any orders, instead choosing to observe the battle. Boom! Bang! The three God Eye descendants all had supreme quality divine artifacts. Coupled with their superb eye bloodline techniques, they quickly gained the upper hand. The array formed by the illusion god race ancient gods and half-step god lords was pushed back again and again. In fact, Zhao Kong even had the time to occasionally attack the bewitching man to reduce the pressure on Xen Wuheng. Twilight Valley, who was controlling the Tree of Time, couldn't help but shout, "Okay." In truth, he could have used the God Lord level forces of his divine kingdom to participate in the battle. But this would have distracted him and put him on the weaker side in this invisible contest with the blue-haired old woman. Now that Zhao Feng had intervened and smoothly dealt with the enemy's plan, there was nothing better than this. Break! Zhao Kong activated his supreme quality divine artifact and his Eye of Spacetime, forming a long and narrow silver blade. Bang! The moment the blade appeared, it pierced through the air and landed on the enemy's formation with lightning speed, shattering it. Immediately, the 7 or 8 people controlling the formation paled. They spat out a mouthful of blood and hastily retreated. With the array shattered, they naturally did not have the strength to fight against Zhao Kong. Kill! Zhao Kong's handsome face was cold as he sent out waves of eye intent. Tiny void blades shot forward. Plush! A rank 9 ancient god was instantly slain by a void blade, unable to put up any resistance. On the other side, Zhao Wan and Zhao Wang also had the upper hand. It wouldn't be long before they broke the enemy array. The current situation seemed to favor the light race divine kingdom side, but none of them appeared very happy. This won't be easy to deal with. In the mist, Zhao Feng stared at God Lord Dreamcolor's group. On the sacred land side, the third heaven God Lord Dreamcolor had yet to take action. Next to God Lord Dreamcolor were 3 second heavens and 1 first heaven. This enormous God Lord faction far surpassed the light race divine kingdoms. Zhao Feng could hold down God Lord Dreamcolor, but the other God Lords of the illusion god sacred land were not so easy to deal with. Thus, Zhao Feng could not recklessly enter the fray. He needed to first wear down the enemy. Once he entered the fray, the enemy would move out in full force. At this moment, boom! The yellow-robed man on the sacred land's side suddenly charged at Zhao Kong. He waved his palms, unleashing several dark yellow palms of energy that shattered Zhao Kong's attacks and continued on. "Thank you, Your Excellency, for saving us." The remaining 4 half-step god lords and ancient gods had grateful expressions on their faces as they quickly withdrew. "Since Your Excellency dares to interfere in the affairs of the illusion god's sacred land, we won't be polite." The yellow-robed man snorted as he fiercely attacked Zhao Kong. The dark yellow palms of energy continued to bombard Zhao Kong. Moreover, when each palm of energy was shattered, it would turn into a dark yellow mist that spread through the surroundings. Illusion Sky Prison. The yellow-robed man suddenly formed a spell. The dark yellow mist between heaven and earth was instantly controlled by him and continuously gathered towards Zhao Kong. Zhao Kong had a bad feeling and wanted to dodge, but it was too late. More and more of the mist latched onto Zhao Kong's body, exuding illusion Dao energy that affected his mind. But at this moment, a powerful soul intent emerged from Zhao Kong's body. This soul intent naturally belonged to Zhao Feng. Swish! In the soul dimension, tens of thousands of lightning bolts surged, and the dark yellow mist was shattered by the lightning. What? The yellow-robed man immediately retreated. That soul intent just now had made him feel a sliver of danger. But at the same time, he was infuriated that his battle strategy had been broken by his opponent. Otherwise, Zhao Kong would have probably been killed here. It's that soul intent again. It's hiding in the rear but not directly participating in the battle. Is its goal to delay the battle? God Lord Dreamcolor's expression darkened, and then she roared, "All of you attack!" This time, she once more exerted her strength and launched a large-scale attack. She wanted to see just what sort of plan her opponent had. At the same time, the eyes of the 2 second Heaven God Lords and the peak first Heaven God Lord next to God Lord Dreamcolor flashed. "Are you finally starting to use your strength?" The blue-haired old woman faintly smiled. At this moment, all the members of the sacred land besides God Lord Dreamcolor had taken action. The Light Race Divine Kingdom's forces were far from being able to deal with this powerful force, so they could only retreat. In the mist, "Did she see through me?" Zhao Feng mentally muttered. From the very start, he had been using delaying tactics to wear down the enemy. After all, they had the advantage in terms of recovery within the Light Race Divine Kingdom. But God Lord Dreamcolor had already seen through him and launched a powerful assault. If Zhao Feng didn't act now, they could only retreat. After all, the enemy was simply too strong. "Retreat!" Zhao Feng suddenly called out. The giant God Race, Light Race, and Zhao Feng's clones all revealed apprehensive expressions and began to retreat. "Is that all?" God Lord Dreamcolor chuckled. She originally believed that the enemy still had some trump card, but it turned out that they were retreating. "After them. Don't let a single one go." God Lord Dreamcolor immediately called out. Immediately, many experts from the illusion god's sacred land began to chase after them. God Lord Dreamcolor remained in the rear, observing the battle and preparing for any unexpected situations. Exen Wuheng, the Grand Elder, God Lord Qing Yun, and the others swiftly retreated into the thick mist. The illusion god's sacred land's forces were in pursuit. At this moment, Zhao Feng suddenly charged forward. In the face of such a massive enemy offensive, there were only 2 options. He could attack or retreat. But how could Zhao Feng retreat? This was just a trick to confuse the enemy. His true choice was to attack. And when Zhao Feng attacked, he had to catch his foe off guard and severely wound his foe the moment he attacked so that the gap in strength between the 2 sides could be closed. Thus, Zhao Feng could not hold back. Dreamification. Origin energy madly surged in Zhao Feng's left eye, and dreamy mist began to swirl out of it and fuse with the world around him. The 9th God Eye, Zhao Feng. The bewitching man, God Lord Dreamcolor, and the others called out in alarm. Their goal in coming here was the 9th God Eye, and now it had finally appeared. But its appearance was too sudden. Retreat! God Lord Dreamcolor sensed that something was wrong and immediately called out. Alas, it was too late. BZZ. A certain distance around Zhao Feng began to be covered in dreamy colors. At this moment, everyone's mental state suddenly plummeted, and they felt an inexplicable sense of danger. Even the light race and giant god race members around Zhao Feng felt the same. Extinguish! Zhao Feng extended a hand, and at the same time, his thought power began to form an intense thought. Suddenly, a strange energy descended upon the world. A first heaven god lord of the illusion god's sacred land vanished without any warning. At the same time, a second heaven god lord next to him began to blur. The second heaven god lord did his best to resist, but it was useless. His body also vanished into the void. The half-step god lords and ancient gods next to him also vanished like bubbles. Zhao Feng's dreamification was an area of effect skill. In order to maximize its effect in the shortest amount of time possible, he had the members of his side retreat. In this way, only the enemy members remained in his field of vision. Their retreat also caused the enemy to let down their guard. What's going on? This terrifying sight made the hearts of the Sacred Land members thump and their backs turn cold. In a flash, nearly half of the members of the Sacred Land below the God Lord level had been killed. 2 first heaven God Lords had fallen, and 1 second heaven God Lord had fallen. Is this the ability of the 9th God Eye? The bewitching man said in a trembling voice. He suddenly realized that his body was also becoming blurry. Oh no! The bewitching man immediately ignited his bloodline and retreated. At the same time, God Lord Dreamcolor charged forward. Chapter 1504. At this moment, Zhao Feng's sudden attack caught the Sacred Land members off guard. As for the dreamification ability, it also shocked everyone, causing the effect of this skill to be even greater. Stop! Within the illusion god's Sacred Land, God Lord Dreamcolor could no longer sit still. She was confident that the 9th God Eye's abilities were not as ridiculous as imagined. Otherwise, Zhao Feng could have just used it from the start to wipe them out in a head-on clash. Upon entering the range of dreamification, God Lord Dreamcolor realized that her illusion god race bloodline and law had a certain resistance to the strange energy of the world. Don't panic. The 9th God Eye's abilities can be resisted. God Lord Dreamcolor immediately called out. God Lord Dreamcolor had an extraordinary amount of influence in the Sacred Land, and her words were like a reassuring pill that calmed the panicking members. Now that they knew the method, they could resist Zhao Feng's dreamification. Even so, Zhao Feng had succeeded in heavily wounding the illusion god's Sacred Land. At the very least, the gap between the two sides had shrunk significantly. Counterattack! Zhao Feng called out. While the illusion god's Sacred Land was still in a state of shock, a counterattack was the best course of action. Now that he was attacking God Lord Dreamcolor, the only one present who could restrain her was Zhao Feng. So you were the only one in that fog. God Lord Dreamcolor softly chuckled. She had speculated this entire time that there might be other helpers or arrangements hidden in that impenetrable fog. But in the end, when she launched a large-scale attack, only Zhao Feng appeared. Although Zhao Feng's sudden attack had inflicted rather heavy losses on the illusion god's Sacred Land, they had at least gotten a clear picture of their enemy. In the current situation, the illusion god's Sacred Land still had the upper hand. Primal Chaos Tribulation Lightning Sword. Zhao Feng wasted no time. Primal Chaos energy surged in his hand, forming a massive and gloomy sword covered in tribulation lightning. With this slash, a powerful pressure and space-time law descended upon God Lord Dreamcolor. She immediately put away her underestimation. Zhao Feng didn't just have a formidable God Eye. His own strength and techniques were also formidable. God Lord Dreamcolor nimbly moved out of Zhao Feng's attack range. At the same time, a colorful ribbon appeared in her hand. Whoosh! The ribbon emitted a 5-colored radiance and carried an astonishing amount of divine power as it wrapped around Zhao Feng. However, Zhao Feng's speed was also very fast, and he dodged the first round of attacks. He's quite fast. God Lord Dreamcolor faintly smiled as she exerted her strength. Boom! Swish! The 5-colored ribbon suddenly split into 5 ribbons of a single color and attacked Zhao Feng. Faced with such a situation, even Zhao Feng would find it difficult to dodge, unless he ran. Wielding the chaotic thunder disaster sword, Zhao Feng hacked madly. Several streaks of chaos tribulation lightning sword light spread out and clashed with the 5 colorful ribbons. This terrifying battle storm caused the surrounding people to hurriedly retreat. In this initial clash, Zhao Feng was certain that God Lord Dreamcolor was even stronger than God Lord Golden Emperor of the Tongtai Zone. God Lord Dreamcolor had a powerful soul intent, was skilled in the Soul Dao, and her attacks were swift and agile. However, during this period of time, Zhao Feng's strength had also improved by quite a bit. It was not a problem for him to fight one-on-one. But now, the key problem was to obtain victory. God Lord Dreamcolor was even stronger than God Lord Golden Emperor, so killing her would be very difficult. Zhao Feng's gaze shifted to other places, including the people fighting around him, as well as the blue-haired old woman in the distance. Boom! Bang! Heaven and earth shook. Chaotic divine power surged in all directions as the members of both sides fought fiercely. Although Zhao Feng's sudden use of the God Eyes abilities had inflicted significant losses on the Illusion God Sacred Land, the Illusion God Sacred Land was still able to recover. However, besides the 2/3 Heaven God Lords and the Bewitching Man, the enemy also had 3 Second Heaven God Lords and 1 First Heaven God Lord. Giant God Hall's Grand Elder and Zhao Feng's 3 clones were still finding it rather difficult to hold down 3 Second Heaven God Lords. Xen Wuheng would deal with the Devilish Man, and the rest would be left to the descendants of the Light Clan. Generally speaking, the Illusion God Sacred Land held the advantage. Brat, you're fighting with me, and you still have time to worry about others? God Lord Dreamcolor's face turned frosty. She was forced to admit that Zhao Feng was stronger than she had expected. But even so, Zhao Feng was still paying attention to the battles of others while he was fighting her. He was simply disregarding and humiliating her. God Lord Dreamcolor coldly snorted, and a powerful ancient bloodline energy erupted from her body. God Lord Dreamcolor's entire body instantly became ethereal, and a 5-colored light shrouded her body, exuding a mysterious and noble aura. Not only that, but a piece of crystalline ice had also appeared in her hand, exuding a dreadful chill. The moment this crystalline ice appeared, a layer of ice began to form in the nearby sky. An ancestral artifact fragment? Zhao Feng's eyes flashed. Die! God Lord Dreamcolor activated her bloodline and charged at Zhao Feng with the ancestral artifact fragment in tow. God Lord Dreamcolor primarily cultivated the Dream Law, which was incompatible with the ancestral artifact fragment. But ancestral artifact fragments were far too rare, and she couldn't just get whatever attribute she wanted. And even if the attribute didn't match, an ancestral artifact fragment was still of a higher level than a supreme quality divine artifact. So fierce! Zhao Feng's expression tightened as he repeatedly swung his primal chaos tribulation lightning sword, but he was still no match for God Lord Dreamcolor's fierce attacks. Zhao Feng retreated as he fought. In the distance, although it's the 9th God Eye, its owner's cultivation is too low. How could he possibly fight against God Lord Dreamcolor? The blue-haired old woman operated the array as she observed the battle. They were both 3rd Heaven God Lords, but God Lord Dreamcolor was even stronger than her, a 3rd Heaven God Lord of the older generation. The 9th God Eye only has this much ability? God Lord Dreamcolor waved the 5 ribbons in her right hand, attacking Zhao Feng from multiple directions. Meanwhile, her left hand gripped the ice crystal, unleashing boundless ice law energy to impede Zhao Feng's movements. If not for the fact that Zhao Feng had a time law that could affect God Lord Dreamcolor, he would have already been caught. The battle between Zhao Feng and God Lord Dreamcolor was getting closer and closer to the blue-haired old woman. Primal Chaos Lightning Vortex. Zhao Feng suddenly used a defensive skill. Primal chaos energy surged around his body, forming a pitch-black hole that began to crackle with tribulation lightning. There's such a defensive skill? God Lord Dreamcolor could naturally sense that Zhao Feng's primal chaos lightning vortex was unusual. No, he was pretending to be no match for me. God Lord Dreamcolor suddenly realized something. If Zhao Feng had this defensive skill, He could have used it from the very beginning and wouldn't have been forced to flee. The only explanation was that Zhao Feng was intentionally fleeing here. Not good. God Lord Dreamcolor glanced at the nearby blue-haired old woman, an ill foreboding in her heart. She immediately controlled the 5 ribbons of light to wrap around the lightning-filled black hole. Swish! Tribulation lightning energy and primal chaos devouring energy were unleashed from the primal chaos lightning vortex, one destroying while the other devouring. But God Lord Dreamcolor was so powerful that she far surpassed God Lord Golden Emperor in every aspect. The primal chaos lightning vortex was still unable to endure her attacks and began to distort. Within the primal chaos lightning vortex, Zhao Feng ignored all this. His left eye pierced through everything and focused on the array controlled by the blue-haired old woman. Disappear. Zhao Feng's left eye focused on the core of the array. He circulated his dream origin energy and thought power, and a firm thought took form. In a flash, Zhao Feng activated his realization ability. Bzzz. Suddenly, a portion of the core of the spirit formation disappeared, causing the operation of the entire spirit formation to go haywire. A powerful backlash force burst forth from within. Thump thump. The blue-haired old woman was forced back several steps, a trickle of blood trickling down the corner of her lips. At the same time, a silver-gray figure appeared next to the array and shot toward the core. The silver-gray figure instantly reached a golden jade cloth and transformed into a silver-gray thieving cat, a crafty grin on its face. No. My ancestral artifact fragment. The blue-haired old woman cried out. The little thieving cat released a sealing energy from its paws, weakening the power of the ancestral artifact fragment, and then it grabbed it and vanished. Good job, little thieving cat. Zhao Feng couldn't help but smile. His goal was victory, and since God Lord Dreamcolor was rather difficult to kill, he had to start from another angle. At this moment, the array shattered and the space fragment was taken away by the little thieving cat. An invisible energy suddenly vanished from the surrounding spacetime. At the same time, Twilight Valley gradually regained control. In a flash, the Illusion God Sacred Land's forces were suppressed while the Light Race Divine Kingdom's forces were like tigers that had grown wings, their strength greatly increasing. Zhao Feng, how dare you use such a despicable scheme? God Lord Dreamcolor's heart burned with rage, her body trembling as she clenched her teeth. Zhao Feng said nothing. His divine body exploded with primal chaos energy as he broke free of the restraints of God Lord Dreamcolor's 5 ribbons. Even though God Lord Dreamcolor was a 3rd heaven God Lord, she was still somewhat suppressed within the Light Race Divine Kingdom. But Zhao Feng still chose not to directly clash with God Lord Dreamcolor. Activating his spacetime law, Zhao Feng transformed into a silver blur and returned to the battlefield. Now that the Illusion God Sacred Land's array had been destroyed by Zhao Feng, the Illusion God Sacred Land members once more felt that powerful suppression. Even though they had the advantage in numbers and cultivation, the Light Race Divine Kingdom's forces were still able to fight back and even hold the slight advantage. At this moment, Zhao Feng suddenly charged over, his target none other than the Bewitching Man. No! The Bewitching Man was still somewhat fearful of Zhao Feng's 9th God Eye's abilities. Now that he saw Zhao Feng charge over, fear appeared in his heart. Primal Chaos Lock. Zhao Feng unleashed a vast amount of primal chaos energy and brought his hands together. The primal chaos energy immediately transformed into countless streams of primal chaos energy that flowed around the Bewitching Man and rapidly contracted. Boom, boom, boom. The Bewitching Man waved his silver fan, unleashing silver tornadoes. But Zhao Feng's primal chaos energy was as steady as a mountain, and it rapidly contracted. The Bewitching Man had also sustained some injuries in the previous battle, and coupled with the suppression from the Divine Kingdom, he was unable to resist Zhao Feng's primal chaos lock and was ultimately trapped within. Die! Zhao Feng clenched his right hand, causing the streams of primal chaos energy to contract once more, and tribulation lightning energy appeared on them. Bang! The primal chaos energy and tribulation lightning energy exploded, obliterating the Bewitching Man. Zhao Feng stared at the point of the explosion, a strange light in his eyes, And then he turned to God Lord Dreamcolor. "You're no longer a match for us." Zhao Feng faintly smiled. They currently had the geographical advantage in the light race divine kingdom while their foes were greatly suppressed. And the peak second heaven bewitching man had been dealt with by Zhao Feng. This meant that he could now fight. If this battle continued for a long time, the illusion god's sacred land would undoubtedly lose. Chapter 1505. A grimace appeared on God Lord Dreamcolor's bewitching face, and she appeared rather helpless. "Kill!" Zhao Feng immediately bellowed. He would not show any mercy. Since the enemy was at a disadvantage, he had to use this chance to attack. Zhao Feng and the other members charged forward. Boom! Bang! Heaven-shaking booms resounded through the divine kingdom. A few moments later, the illusion god's sacred land side was on the back foot and suffering grievous injuries. Retreat! God Lord Dreamcolor could only give this order. They no longer had any chance of victory. Continuing to fight would only increase their casualties. The sacred land's side immediately chose to retreat. The light race divine kingdom's side naturally would not let their enemies go and began to pursue. As they fled, more and more members of the illusion god's sacred land's side were injured. Even God Lord Dreamcolor was injured several times by Zhao Feng's attacks. The blue-haired old woman did not maintain the array to protect the rest of the group, so the number of casualties was extremely low. In the end, the sacred land's side finally retreated to the gap and prepared to flee the light race divine kingdom. But at this moment, the gap was gradually closing, clearly under Twilight Valley's control. "Hurry and stop him!" God Lord Dreamcolor immediately bellowed, leading the charge. The blue-haired old woman followed behind, preparing to work together to prevent the gap from closing. But before the two of them could get close to the gap, kaboom! A dreadful ripple of energy came from the outside world. This dreadful divine power made even the two-third heaven god lords feel threatened. Not good. Retreat. God Lord Dreamcolor and the blue-haired old woman used their secret defensive skills as they rapidly retreated. At this moment, bang! An enormous white divine power shockwave shot out from the gap. The terrifying destructive power and the enormous range of the attack destroyed everything in its path. Even the Light Clan's holy kingdom was enlarged by this powerful bombardment, and a huge gap was formed. As for the sacred land, although the two-third heaven god lords did their best to defend and dodge, they still suffered significant injuries. Who is it? The two-third heaven god lords both vomited blood, their faces pale. The two groups of people behind could also see the situation outside through the huge gap. This was an ancient and majestic warship of gray and black. On top of this warship was a massive golden cannon platform covered in the mysterious characters of the Heaven's Legacy race, and it was also flashing with light. It was obvious that the attack from earlier had been fired from this giant cannon. 4 old men stood on both sides of the fort. At a glance, they looked like old monsters who had lived for countless years. Heaven's Legacy race? God Lord Dreamcolor stared in shock and hatred at the 4 elders on the warship. But these 4 elders only glanced at God Lord Dreamcolor before turning their gazes to Zhao Feng. God Lord Stellar Aspect. Zhao Feng recognized one of them. The elder wielding the silver wooden staff was none other than God Lord Stellar Aspect. However, God Lord Stellar Aspect's position was rather far back. Zhao Feng couldn't help but turn his gaze to the leading elder. The other party was also staring at Zhao Feng. His gaze was filled with agitation, anger, and intense killing intent. The members of the Light Race Divine Kingdom were alarmed and apprehensive. The domineering appearance of the Heaven's Legacy race had intimidated them. "You dare to attack the illusion god's sacred land?" God Lord Dreamcolor suddenly called out. The Heaven's Legacy race had attacked the moment they approached the gap. If they weren't on guard, even the 3rd heaven god lords would have been severely injured. Since the illusion god's sacred land can't take away the 9th god eye, leave everything to us. Yu Lu Ping ignored God Lord Dreamcolor's words and continued to speak. God Lord Dreamcolor, I advise you to leave this place, or else you'll have to bear the consequences. God Lord Stellar Aspect coldly threatened. God Lord Dreamcolor, let's retreat for now. The situation is bad. The blue-haired old woman softly advised. The illusion god's sacred land had just fought a major battle with the light race divine kingdom and was defeated, forcing them to flee. The heavens legacy race that had suddenly appeared was in peak condition, and one could even say that they had been prepared. Clashing with them head-on was asking to be beaten. The illusion god's sacred land members gradually retreated to the side and watched from a distance. Yu Lu Ping indifferently glanced at the distant illusion god's sacred land and ignored them. He knew that the illusion god's sacred land had not completely given up, but they could not attack the illusion god's sacred land, or else they would be forcing the ninth god Eye to ally with the illusion god's sacred land. At this moment, as long as the illusion god's sacred land did not interfere with the battle, they could crush everything and kill the ninth god Eye. Zhao Feng, I don't know how you managed to escape from there, but I'm different. I will execute you. Yu Lu Ping looked at Zhao Feng, his voice cold and murderous. At this moment, many small holes on the warship began to glow with white light, exuding a dangerous aura. Dodge! Zhao Feng immediately called out. The light race descendants had some understanding of the heavens legacy race and immediately reacted, scattering and retreating. Swish swish swish. At the same time, countless beams of white light shot out from the warship, destroying everything in their path. Rays of light filled the sky. Everyone used their secret speed techniques to dodge and evade the cannons of the gray warship. Finally, they managed to survive the first round of attacks from the Heaven's Legacy race. Heh, you just went through a major battle and used up all your tricks? Are you done now? Godlord Stellar Aspect mocked. That's just your understanding. We haven't even used our full strength against the illusion god's sacred land. Zhao Feng calmly replied. He had long ago predicted that the Heaven's Legacy race might be behind all of this, so he had been holding back and had not used his full strength. All of you come out. Zhao Feng spread open his arms, creating a spatial passage to his divine kingdom. Swish, swish. Several enormous red figures charged out. They were the Blood Flame Qilin race, and the Blood Flame Qilin race patriarch had long ago reached the Godlord level. Just these small fries? Godlord Stellar Aspect scornfully said. These Blood Flame Qilins had ordinary bloodlines and low cultivations. The strongest was only a first heaven Godlord. What use were they? But Godlord Stellar Aspect had barely finished speaking when several more enormous figures leaped out of the passage. A few golden griffins flew out with great momentum. Then ancient beasts of all kinds of different colors and shapes charged out of it. Although only an extremely small number of them had reached the Godlord level, the majority were top-class experts beneath the Godlord level. When this force was gathered together, it was an extremely powerful force. Yu Lu Ping, Godlord Stellar Aspect, and the others of the Heaven's Legacy race were rather surprised. As they had no way of predicting the ninth god Eye, they had never imagined that Zhao Feng would have so many subordinates. Swish! With a wave of the space-time robe, a massive dragon wreathed in crimson draconic flames howled out. On its head was a bizarre thieving cat. With this, Zhao Feng had gathered all his forces. The Light Race and Xen Wuheng's group looked in pleasant surprise at Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng had not revealed this move of his. It seemed like they still had a chance against the Heaven's Legacy race. In the distance, many members of the illusion god's sacred land had rather interesting expressions. As expected of the ninth god Eye. It can't be judged by normal standards. After a moment of shock, Godlord Dreamcolor calmed down. Godlord Stellar Aspect, prepare the Godkiller cannon. Yu Liuping's eyes darkened. Yes. Godlord Stellar Aspect formed a spell and took control of the golden cannon next to him. Buzz. Bzz. Several arrays appeared around the golden cannon and began to slowly turn. The golden cannon also began to glimmer with light, and then it began to pulse with energy. Kill! Zhao Feng's eyes darkened as he gave the order. They had just experienced the power of the Godkiller cannon. Its offensive power was equivalent to the full-strength attack of a third heaven Godlord. However, the Godkiller cannon had an extremely large range. The Light Race Divine Kingdom's forces could dodge the ordinary cannons of the warship, but the chances of dodging the Godkiller cannon were very slim. Kill! The light race descendants, the ancient beasts, and even Zhao Feng's forces all charged at the warship. That terrifying aura shook the entire light tribe holy kingdom at all times. If not for the fact that this divine kingdom was extremely tough, it would have been shattered by this battle. On the warship, 2 other Heaven's Legacy race members took control. BZZ. A gray defensive barrier appeared around the warship. At the same time, 2 exits appeared on both sides of the warship. 6 figures charged out. These 6 were all Death God guards, beings formed from the fusion of living and automaton technology. The weakest of them was a 2nd heaven god lord, while the strongest was a 3rd heaven. Moreover, he had been implanted with an automaton art and bloodline, so his fighting power was not to be underestimated. Boom, bang, crash. The many figures of the light race divine kingdom surrounded the black-gray warship and unleashed powerful attacks. Although the Heaven's Legacy race only had 6 Death God guards, all of them were extremely powerful. In addition, the energy cannons of the warship were firing in every direction. Zhao Feng's ancient beasts suffered rather severe casualties. However, Zhao Feng had a clone called Zhao Hui, the owner of the Eye of the Samsara of Life. Although his cultivation wasn't very high, he could use the resurrection art on almost any living being beneath the God Lord level. The lower the cultivation, the easier it was to resurrect. Kaboom! The black-gray warship suddenly exploded with white light as the Godkiller cannon fired. A giant light pillar burst out and swept forward. The terrifying damage and massive range of this attack made the hearts of the light race divine kingdom members tremble in fear. Illusory oblivion. Zhao Feng naturally wouldn't allow this to happen, and he activated his left eye. A dreamy mist spread out and seeped into the world. Everything in front of Zhao Feng dimmed. Only that white pillar of light was covered in a dazzling dreamy light. Extinguish! He circulated his thought power and activated his dream eye bloodline technique. In a flash, the white pillar of light began to fade. In the end, the Godkiller cannon didn't injure a single person. A powerful ability of the 9th God Eye? Yu Luping stared at Zhao Feng's eye in surprise. Boom, bang, crash. The 2 sides fiercely clashed, and the defensive barrier of the Heaven's Legacy race warship began to crack. The 6 Death God guards found it hard to hold on against the combined assault. Of course, the number of casualties on the side of the Light Clan Divine Kingdom was also shocking. In the distance, the illusion god's sacred land quietly watched. I didn't think that Zhao Feng would have so many tricks up his sleeves. He truly is powerful, and the Heaven's Legacy race is no trifling matter. God Lord Dreamcolor muttered. Then when should we strike? The blue-haired old woman's pale face slowly returned to normal, and she gave a strange smile. The illusion god's sacred land had long ago guessed that the Heaven's Legacy race had intentionally leaked the news to them. They had also expected the Heaven's Legacy race to take advantage of the situation. Let's wait a little longer. That Godkiller cannon really did injure me a little. God Lord Dreamcolor gave a bewitching smile. At the same time, the other members of the illusion god's sacred land began to recover a little, and their auras grew stronger. Even some of the heavily injured and unconscious people suddenly woke up. It was as if everything that had happened before had been an illusion, a disguise. Chapter 1506. Let's wait a little longer. I really was a little injured by that Godkiller cannon. God Lord Dreamcolor gave a bewitching smile. At the same time, the other members of the illusion god's sacred land began to recover a little, their auras getting much stronger. Many of the heavily injured and unconscious people suddenly woke up. Some of them even had their cultivations increase by half a level. It was as if everything that had happened just now had been an illusion, a disguise. The illusion god race, ranked 13th among the 10,000 ancient races, was skilled in disguise and ever-changing. They could even imitate the soul energy and bloodline energy of others. Pretending to be injured was easy for them. This disguise was done step by step. With each clash, they would pretend to be injured, gradually accumulating until it was hard to notice. In the next counterattack, We need to take down everyone in one fell swoop. We can't be careless. God Lord Dreamcolor's eyes flashed with a cunning and sinister light. Milord's plan is truly excellent. Although the Heaven's Legacy race is using us as the vanguard, we can pretend to be defeated and force them to attack. The yellow-clothed man said in admiration. God Lord Dreamcolor smiled and nodded, saying nothing. It would be wonderful if everything went according to plan. During the course of the operation, the trump cards of Zhao Feng's side had surprised her, causing the illusion god's sacred land to lose as much of its remaining strength as they had planned. But there were no major problems. The ninth god eye's side had probably used up all its trump cards. The battle was extremely intense, and on the surface, it seemed like the Heaven's Legacy race was on the back foot. But God Lord Dreamcolor did not think this way. In her view, the ninth god eye's side had used up all its trump cards while the Heaven's Legacy race was still rather mysterious and unfathomable. Boom. Bang. The defensive barrier of the Heaven's Legacy race warship shattered. However, in order to break this barrier, Zhao Feng's side had suffered rather severe losses. Primal Chaos Tribulation Lightning Slash. Zhao Feng aimed at the golden cannon and slashed. This massive cannon was a major threat. As long as it had enough energy and time, it could fire an extremely threatening attack. Ninth God Eye, this old man truly did underestimate you, but all your struggles are useless. Yu Luping snorted and waved his hand, unleashing a powerful wave of divine power. Boom! Zhao Feng's Chaos Lightning Tribulation Sword aura was shattered. Third Heaven. Based on this strike, Zhao Feng was able to determine the identity of the leader. The Giant God Race, the Light Race, and the Ninth God Eye are all here. Today, I will personally avenge my grandson. Yu Luping let out a roar as his figure soared into the sky, emitting a third-layer aura. The Heaven's Legacy race was not skilled in battle, but that was only when compared to the other races in the top 10 ancient races. In terms of combat power, the Heaven's Legacy race was at least comparable to the races in the top 40 ancient races. Grandson? Zhao Feng's eyes flashed with a hint of doubt. But he quickly recalled what Bai Minghui had told him. The Yu Heng that Zhao Feng had killed seemed to be the grandson of an elder of the Heaven's Legacy race. This elder had been advocating the execution of Zhao Feng, but the Heaven Lord had disagreed. Zhao Feng suddenly understood why this member of the Heaven's Legacy race was so hostile to him. At the same time, Zhao Feng became even more cautious upon hearing this. Yu Heng's ancient race bloodline had left an extremely strong impression on him. Then what about this Yu Heng's elder? Did he also have a similarly powerful bloodline? At this moment, Yu Luping thrust out a palm. A massive golden palm of light appeared, extremely solid and covered in simple and unadorned designs that exuded boundless majestic energy. As expected, he's not ordinary. The moment he attacked, Zhao Feng knew that Yu Luping was not simple. Primal Chaos Tribulation Lightning Slash. Zhao Feng also condensed a Primal Chaos Tribulation Lightning Sword in his other hand and swung both swords. Boom! Bang! Crush! One crisscrossing Primal Chaos Tribulation Lightning Sword after another howled forward, pulverizing the golden palm of light. Zhao Feng's Primal Chaos energy was equivalent to the divine power of a third Heaven God Lord, and with the addition of Tribulation Lightning, it was even more destructive. But Yu Luping was no ordinary third Heaven God Lord. In this clash, Zhao Feng sensed that Yu Liuping's strength was on the same level as God Lord Dreamcolor's. It seems like the heaven-mending race legacy you obtained is extremely outstanding. Yu Liuping's eyes flashed. Swish! A dazzling golden fragment appeared in his hand. The moment this object appeared, it released a dazzling and sharp golden light that attracted the attention of everyone on the battlefield. An ancestral artifact fragment containing a metal law. Zhao Feng's expression darkened. The ancestral artifact fragment that God Lord Dreamcolor took out did not match the law she cultivated. But the ancestral artifact fragment that Yu Luping took out was clearly extremely suitable for her. A golden blade as thin as a cicada's wing and as smooth as a mirror slashed at Zhao Feng. In a flash of golden light, the golden blade seemed to be right in front of him. This lightning-fast attack was comparable to Zhao Feng's eye bloodline technique version of the Primal Chaos Divine Sword. Zhao Feng immediately activated the two ancestral artifact fragments in the spacetime robe and unleashed a spacetime blade. Swish. Magnetism. Two extremely fast and extremely destructive attacks instantly collided. The powerful power of the laws spread out in all directions, causing the nearby combatants to involuntarily retreat. Not good. This old man from the Heaven's Legacy race is unfathomable. Although the strength displayed by this old man was not much stronger than God Lord Dreamcolor, he was still a member of the Heaven's Legacy race, so he could not be underestimated. Zhao Feng looked around as he tried to think of a way to resolve this. But the Heaven's Legacy race's strategy was extremely meticulous, making it very difficult to find any flaws. The two Heaven's Legacy race members were responsible for controlling the warship. Although the defensive array had been shattered, it could still be repaired. And God Lord's stellar aspect was responsible for the God Killer cannon, which was also a major threat. Finally, Yu Lu Ping was even more unfathomable. Since that's the case, I can only do this. Zhao Feng glanced at the distant illusion god's sacred land. Boom, bang, crush. The battle continued, and Zhao Feng was gradually losing ground to Yu Lu Ping. After all, if he hadn't used his other trump cards, he truly would have been no match for Yu Lu Ping. Thus, Zhao Feng continued to conserve his strength, even putting himself in danger and suffering some minor injuries. In the distance, on the illusion god's sacred land side, the Heaven's Legacy race truly is powerful. They're about to lose. The yellow-robed man was rather impatient. Why isn't Zhao Feng using the power of the ninth god eye? The blue-haired old woman's turbid eyes flashed with a strange light. Everyone knew the abilities of the ninth god eye. If he used it, he wouldn't have been suppressed by Yu Lu Ping. Perhaps he's using it too much. A second Heaven Godlord said. From the very start, Zhao Feng had used the power of the ninth god eye many times, each time producing a massive effect. Maybe he's using it too much. Or maybe Zhao Feng knows that even if he uses the ninth god eye against a third Heaven God Lord of the Heaven's Legacy race, he still won't be able to win, so he pretended to be on the verge of defeat so that we could strike. God Lord Dreamcolor's lips curled up. After all, Yu Lu Ping had already said that he would execute Zhao Feng. Once Zhao Feng was killed, the illusion god's sacred land wouldn't be able to get anything. After some thought, God Lord Dreamcolor could guess at Zhao Feng's thoughts. Then we? The yellow-robed man hesitated. Strike. Capture the ninth god eye and then leave the light race divine kingdom. God Lord Dreamcolor firmly said. She had already guessed that Zhao Feng was feigning weakness in hopes that they would strike and alleviate the danger, but God Lord Dreamcolor still chose to strike because she was absolutely confident. Kaboom! All the members of the illusion god's sacred land soared into the sky, unleashing their illusion god race bloodline energy. Target the ninth god eye. God Lord Dreamcolor called out as she led her people forward. As they flew, all the members of the illusion god's sacred land formed a strange formation. The bloodline energy of all their members was connected to each other, gradually creating astonishing ripples of energy. The two sides fighting sensed this and looked into the distance. They were instantly shocked. Weren't they heavily injured? Why do they seem fine? They fought with us just now and suffered such heavy injuries, but they managed to recover so quickly? Many of the members found this somewhat inconceivable. Not good. They seemed to be using an ancient bloodline secret art of the illusion god race. Xen Wuheng sensed that the illusion god race was acting strangely. But he didn't know much about this race that was skilled in disguise and impersonation. Limitless nightmare. God Lord Dreamcolor called out. At the same time, a 5-colored crystal appeared in her hand. She crushed the 5-colored crystal, and a supreme divine power erupted from it that revolved around the heads of the illusion god race members. This was the divine power crystal left behind by God King Nethercloud of the illusion god's sacred land. God Lord Dreamcolor was now using it. All the illusion god race members madly burned their bloodline energy, resonating with the supreme divine power above their heads. A 5-colored glow was emitted, encapsulating their surroundings, resulting in a strange sight. Moreover, this multicolored mist instantly unfurled, and a few moments later, it had engulfed the entire world. In this multicolored illusion, the people around Zhao Feng began to vanish until only he was left. This is a dream dimension art? Zhao Feng mentally muttered. One of the higher-level legacies of the illusion god race included the dream Dao. And Zhao Feng's intrusive dream eye bloodline technique was also a type of dream Dao. This was one of the reasons he was able to see through it. The second reason was that Zhao Feng had the dream god eye, which made him extremely resistant to illusion arts. Zhao Feng was in no rush to escape this dream dimension, only using the see-through ability of his dream god eye. Gradually, his left eye was able to see some of the realistic scenes around him. The world was eerily quiet. The nearby people stood in a daze. Just like Zhao Feng, their minds had fallen into that dream dimension. At this moment, Zhao Feng saw the illusion god race's god lord Dreamcolor and the blue-haired old woman rapidly approaching him. The illusion god race had paid an enormous price to plunge everyone into infinite nightmare, and their true goal was to capture Zhao Feng. If it were anyone else, the illusion god's sacred land would have never failed. At this moment, Zhao Feng was prepared to break out of the dream dimension. But suddenly, another figure appeared in his field of vision, rapidly approaching God Lord Dreamcolor and the blue-haired old woman. This person was none other than Yu Luping. How could this be? Even a third heaven wouldn't be able to break free of infinite nightmares so quickly. God Lord Dreamcolor was alarmed. This infinite nightmare had gathered the power of many top-class experts of the illusion god race, several god lords, and 2/3 heaven god lords. At the same time, it was mixed in with God King Nethercloud's dream Dao energy. Those little tricks of the illusion god race want to fool the heavens legacy race? As for your infinite nightmare, this old man has seen it once before. Yu Luping couldn't help but mockingly smile. As it turned out, they had long ago seen through the illusion god's sacred land's plan to pretend to be heavily injured, and they had also seen this secret art before, so they had a plan to deal with it. Chapter 1507. God Lord Dreamcolor and the blue-haired old woman turned gloomy. As it turned out, Yu Luping had long ago seen through the illusion god's sacred land's plan to feign being heavily injured, and he had also seen this secret art before, so he had a way to deal with it. After dispelling the dream dimension, Yu Luping mentally messaged the method to the heavens legacy race. Attack! God Lord Dreamcolor coldly snorted and changed directions to attack Yu Luping. The blue-haired old woman understood God Lord Dreamcolor's intentions and immediately attacked. At this moment, the two god lords of the illusion god's sacred land attacked Yu Luping. As long as they could defeat Yu Luping, the rest of the Heaven's Legacy race members would pose no threat. You think you can do anything to this old man? Yu Luping faintly smiled. Die! 5 rainbow-colored ribbons appeared in God Lord Dreamcolor's hands, which transformed into 5 streaks of light that shot toward Yu Luping. A green jade staff appeared in the blue-haired old woman's hand, and she swung it, unleashing waves of green light. The Heaven's Legacy race was not very strong, and as members of the Illusion God race, the two of them working together would definitely be able to quickly defeat Yu Luping. I'll let you experience this old man's true strength. Yu Luping paid little heed to the sneak attack of 2 people of the same level. Many strange patterns began to appear on his rough and ancient skin. But all of a sudden, another powerful bloodline aura spread out and covered the ancient runes. Kaboom! A red and tyrannical energy surged out of Yu Luping's body. Everyone in a radius of hundreds of thousands of li immediately felt an extremely oppressive energy, but their minds remained in the dream dimension as if they were having some dreadful nightmare. The red energy stimulated by this bloodline energy revolved in the air, forming the image of a massive god devil, cold and ancient and intimidating. BZZ. The god devil image became more and more solid, and it moved in perfect sync with Yu Luping, exuding a tyrannical energy and boundless fighting intent. At this moment, God Lord Dreamcolor and the blue-haired old woman, who were preparing to attack Yu Luping, stopped, their bloodlines trembling in fear. God Martial Race Bloodline? God Lord Dreamcolor blurted out in shock. If they had looked down on Yu Luping before and thought that the two of them would be able to easily defeat him by joining forces, then their opinions had now completely changed. Among the 10,000 ancient races, the God Martial race was ranked 5th. They were a race with incredible combat strength, and they were proficient in all kinds of battle techniques and secret arts. I'll get rid of you annoying flies first. Yu Luping snorted and charged at the 2/3 heaven god lords of the sacred land. The illusion god's sacred land's evil intentions had yet to die. If they were not eliminated, who knew when they would suddenly jump out again? When Yu Luping moved, the red god fiend image did the same, giving the surrounding people a heavy pressure. How did it become like this? God Lord Dreamcolor's brow was tightly furrowed in worry. The illusion god race had already used all their trump cards, believing that they could smoothly obtain the 9th god eye and leave this place. He hadn't expected for the Heaven's Legacy race to be even better. Not only did they have a way to undo Boundless Nightmare, their leader even had such a powerful bloodline. This person's bloodline must have been transplanted. He is far inferior to a true descendant of the God Martial clan. If the two of us work together, we might be able to fight him. The blue-haired old woman's eyes were cloudy and deep. That's all we can do. God Lord Dreamcolor clenched her teeth and agreed. She was also confident that Yu Luping was definitely weaker than a true descendant of the God Martial race. Moreover, before entering the Light Race Divine Kingdom, they had already informed God King Nethercloud of what was happening. It probably wouldn't be long before God King Nethercloud personally arrived. At that time, everything would be easily resolved. Zhao Feng stood there, pretending to still be immersed in boundless nightmare as he took in all of this. As expected, that old man from the Heaven's Legacy race isn't ordinary. Zhao Feng was alarmed. He hadn't expected for this person to also have such a powerful bloodline. At this time, the Yu Luping who had activated his bloodline was probably on par with Bai Minghui who had activated his heaven-mending race bloodline. In addition, this was Zhao Feng's first time seeing the God Martial race bloodline. He sensed that this bloodline was a little similar to the unparalleled heaven-battling bloodline he had seen in the Continent Zone. Perhaps the two were somehow related. On the other end, the other members of the Heaven's Legacy race had broken free of Boundless Nightmare and were engaged in battle with the other members of the Illusion God's sacred land. Of course, those who did not have a high cultivation level would have to expend a great deal of energy to break free of this dream. However, the members of the Illusion God's sacred land had just used Boundless Nightmare and had lost a great deal of their bloodline, so they were somewhat unable to win. I'll let you fight for a bit. Zhao Feng was in no rush to break free of Boundless Nightmare. The Illusion God's sacred land was currently engaged in a war with the Heaven's Legacy race. If he suddenly woke up, he would end up breaking the stalemate. Of course, he would not remain idle. Zhao Feng closed his eyes and circulated his dream energy. His thought power began to circulate, and he instantly created another dream dimension. Using the Illusion God race's Boundless Nightmare as a foundation, Zhao Feng once more created his own dream dimension. The majority of Zhao Feng's consciousness entered his dream dimension. In this dimension, he could change anything he wanted, but he could not change himself. Synchronize dream dimension with reality. In the dream dimension, Zhao Feng seated himself cross-legged on the ground and began to cultivate. Zhao Feng's dream dimension was synchronized with reality. This was not only useful against enemies, but also against himself. At this moment, he was peacefully cultivating in the dream dimension he had created. But to the outside world, Zhao Feng seemed to be trapped in the Illusion God race's Boundless Nightmare. The dream dimension also had a special time cultivation effect, and the source of this effect was the time law and dream origin energy. The effect was even stronger, and time flowed 400 to 1. Zhao Feng took out a golden jade silk cloth, which immediately began to exude a powerful space law. This was the space ancestral artifact fragment that the little thieving cat had obtained from the blue-haired old woman. BZZ. In the dream dimension, Zhao Feng attempted to fuse the second ancestral artifact fragment into the space-time robe. During this entire process, Zhao Feng was comprehending the space law and cultivating. With 2 ancestral artifact fragments, he could vaguely sense that his space law was about to break through a bottleneck. A long time ago, in the light race's divine kingdom, Zhao Feng had reached the peak of first heaven, not just in terms of law but also in divine power. Although his subsequent cultivation of the primal chaos scripture had remolded his divine power, it had long ago reached the limit of the first heaven. Now, as long as he could reach the small success stage in his law, his divine power would be able to smoothly break into the second heaven. He used this chance to circulate the primal chaos scripture and attempt to break into the second heaven. In the outside world, the heaven's legacy race was fiercely clashing with the illusion god's sacred land. Golden radiant palm. Yu Luping roared as he thrust out a palm. The red godfiend shadow did the same thing. Its huge red palm slammed forward. Boom! A mountainous golden red palm of energy, suffused with boundless divine might, howled forward and pulverized everything in its path. What a powerful attack! The blue-haired old woman's eyes dimmed as she swung her green staff. 3 green vortexes appeared in the air, from which emerged countless ancient vines that attempted to bind the golden radiant palm. At the same time, God Lord Dreamcolor waved her ribbon, which transformed into 5 streaks of light that pierced through the golden radiant palm. The crystal ice in her other hand suddenly stabbed forward, unleashing a streak of icy light that attacked Yu Luping from the side. Truly ignorant! Yu Luping snorted as he thrust out a finger. The massive red figure did the same, unleashing a powerful finger that easily pulverized God Lord Dreamcolor's attack. After activating his God Martial Race bloodline, Yu Liuping's fighting ability was extraordinary, and he was able to unleash the full power of his combat skills. Although his opponents were 2/3 heavens, he was still at a disadvantage. Kill! Yu Luping called out as he ordered the other 3 heavens legacy race members. As for himself, he held nothing back as he charged at the 2/3 heaven god lords. He used several powerful combat skills to close in on God Lord Dreamcolor and the blue-haired old woman. This person is too strong. The blue-haired old woman was forced to admit that even working together with God Lord Dreamcolor would find it difficult to stop Yu Luping. Delay him. Once Lord Nethercloud returns, everything will be over. And I don't believe that this person can use such a powerful transplanted bloodline without restraint. God Lord Dreamcolor's expression darkened. Although they were no match for Yu Luping, they could not be easily defeated. God Lord Dreamcolor had some understanding of the Heaven's Legacy race's transplanted bloodline. Transplanting other powerful bloodlines could only boost one's fighting power for a short time, and different people would have different side effects. As the two battled, the fierce storms of their battle constantly battered the Light Race Divine Kingdom forces. Twilight Valley was also constantly controlling the energy of the world to stimulate the people in their dreams. Exen Wuheng was the first to break free from the boundless nightmare, his face pale and his heart palpitating in fear. He stared in shock at the scene before him. At the same time, he began to retreat. Although he had the ability to break free from the dream, he could not help so many of his comrades. However, Exen Wuheng glanced at Zhao Feng and saw that Zhao Feng was still in the dream. A look of disbelief appeared on his face. The sacred land and the Heaven's Legacy race are truly unfathomable. Exen Wuheng sighed as he watched the battle from a distance. As the battle continued, the bodies of the Black Destruction Dragon and the giant god race Grand Elder swayed, and after a little while, they broke free from the dream. Each person that broke free had a pale and fearful expression on their faces. This was because they truly had experienced all sorts of terrifying things in the Boundless Nightmare. Boundless Nightmare was powerful, and if it was used on a single target, it might be able to cast them into an eternal nightmare. However, Zhao Feng had many people on his side, so the effect was greatly reduced and only temporary. This was also why God Lord Dreamcolor's plan was to capture the 9th God Eye and then leave the Divine Kingdom. Not much time had passed in the outside world, but a long time had passed in Zhao Feng's dream dimension. At this moment, Zhao Feng had no time to pay attention to the battle outside. In the dreamland space, the space laws in his heart were constantly accumulating, settling, and subliming, faintly reaching a new level. The dream dimension was twisted and chaotic. The space law affected everything, and the dazzling colors dazzled the eyes. Zhao Feng's primal chaos divine power was also being refined, seemingly on the verge of undergoing a qualitative transformation. Zhao Feng knew that he was at a crucial moment in his attempt to break into the second heaven God Lord level. Once he broke through, he would get much stronger, and it would be much easier to deal with the Heaven's Legacy race and Sacred Land. Chapter 1508. At this moment, Zhao Feng was at a crucial juncture in breaking into the second heaven. There were clearly too many uncertainties in breaking through at this critical juncture, but Zhao Feng still chose to break through now. Once he succeeded, he would get much stronger, and it would be much easier to deal with the Heaven's Legacy race and Sacred Land. Moreover, the Heaven's Legacy race was busy fighting with the illusion god's Sacred Land. Boom, bang, crash. Explosions resounded across the divine kingdom. But this dreadful storm had no effect on those trapped in their endless nightmares. At this moment, the two illusion god race god lords were adopting a defensive strategy. Although they had no chance of obtaining the ninth god eye, they could not let Yu Luping destroy it. Not only was God King Nethercloud hurrying back, but the illusion god Sacred Land was also mobilizing the other members of the Chixing Zone. As long as they could stall the situation, the illusion god Sacred Land still had a very high chance of victory. Moreover, the illusion god race was also skilled in speed. By changing their strategy, the two of them were able to hold down Yu Luping. You want to hold down this old man? Yu Luping couldn't help but sneer. The ancestral artifact fragment swung, and the red god devil did the same. A golden blur appeared in its hand and slashed down. A domineering and awe-inspiring golden blade suddenly slashed out. This time, Yu Luping was using the ancestral artifact fragment while activating his bloodline. This attack seemed simple, but it was profound and contained terrifying energy. Defend! God Lord Dreamcolor called out, and the crystal in her hand also slashed down, unleashing a storm of ice. The blue-haired old woman burned her divine power and activated a secret art. Suddenly, a massive vine grew out from below, twisting upward to block their path. Oh! The icy storm blew around the giant vine and gradually froze it. God Lord Dreamcolor did not use her own attack to destroy Yu Liuping's attack. Instead, she used it to fuse with the old woman's defensive art to strengthen it. After all, she was not skilled in the ice law, so the attack she used with the ancestral artifact fragment could not compare to Yu Liuping's. Boom! Bang! The golden blade flashed with golden light as it collided with the crystal vine, sending shards of ice flying into the air. In the blink of an eye, the golden blade had sunk into his body. However, its power gradually weakened. In the end, when it pierced through the ice crystal vines, it lost all of its power. The two third heaven god lords were still fearful. Facing Yu Liuping's attack alone, it was absolutely impossible for them to block it. At this moment, so what if he blocked it? Yu Luping laughed awkwardly. The two third heaven god lords of the illusion god race focused, sensing that something was wrong. Suddenly, they felt a powerful fluctuation of divine power. BZZZ. On the grayish-black warship, the Heaven's Legacy spell formations, characters, and diagrams around the golden turrets flashed with sparkling light. The golden cannon was aimed at God Lord Dreamcolor and the blue-haired old woman, exuding a dangerous aura. Oh no, it's the Godkiller cannon. God Lord Dreamcolor grimaced. The Godkiller cannon was equivalent to an all-out attack from a third firmament cultivator. Furthermore, it covered a large area, making it difficult to dodge. Meanwhile, Yu Luping roared, and the red god fiend image released boundless battle intent as it charged forward. That immense battle intent combined with the power of his will of soul formed a giant hammer that pressed down. Boom! Kakrek! The two third heaven god lords felt their souls and divine bodies tremble, and blood trickled down the corners of their mouths. At this moment, the distant Godkiller cannon fired, its crystalline white beams sweeping toward the pair. Boom! Bang! The two third heaven god lords hurriedly used defensive combat skills, but the massive shockwave of divine power still sent them flying several hundred li. The two immediately got up, their divine bodies in tatters and their faces pale. On the other side, the other members of the illusion god's sacred land were being forced back again and again by the Heaven's legacy race, suffering grievous casualties. The illusion god race was cunning and skilled in disguise, but in the end, they were still defeated by the Heaven's legacy race. "I'll kill you first." Yu Liuping's eyes flashed with a cold light as he charged at the two-third heaven god lords. But suddenly he sensed an unusual energy and couldn't help but turn to look at Zhao Feng. This kid's energy suddenly got much stronger just now. Yu Liuping mentally muttered. How could Zhao Feng, who was in a dream, do something like this? But Yu Liuping quickly realized that something was wrong. An ordinary peak first heaven being trapped in boundless nightmare was rather normal, but this was not normal for the ninth god eye. Yu Liuping's pause caused God Lord Dreamcolor and the others to notice the ninth god eye. Is that kid pretending to be in boundless nightmare? Is he just watching the show? God Lord Dreamcolor glanced at Zhao Feng. Of course, she didn't believe that Zhao Feng's actions had much meaning. It was just a matter of whether he would die sooner or later. "I'll kill you first." Yu Liuping's eyes flashed with a harsh light as he turned and charged at Zhao Feng. For some reason, he suddenly felt that if he didn't kill Zhao Feng now, something bad would happen. Thus, he chose to kill Zhao Feng first. As Yu Liuping approached Zhao Feng, the enormous figure of the god devil began to exude terrifying killing intent. "Brother Zhao, what's wrong?" In the distance, Xan Wuheng was also extremely worried. Logically speaking, Zhao Feng shouldn't have been trapped in boundless nightmare for so long. The rest of the descendants of the Light Clan also looked anxious. Only Zhao Feng's clone and the little thieving cat had rather calm expressions, but a sharp light flashed through their eyes. At this moment, Zhao Feng's dormant body suddenly exploded with chaotic light and space law energy. Zhao Feng opened his eyes and looked at Yu Liuping, a faint smile on his face. "Your cultivation?" Yu Liuping was stunned. After fighting with Zhao Feng earlier, he was sure that Zhao Feng was much stronger than before. Small success in a law. Second heaven? In the distance, God Lord Dreamcolor and the blue-haired old woman stared with wide eyes, wondering if their eyes were playing tricks on them. Zhao Feng had been trapped in boundless nightmare earlier, but after waking up, he had broken through? This was simply too inconceivable. Even if Zhao Feng had pretended to be trapped in boundless nightmare, he had actually already woken up. But in this sort of situation, Zhao Feng couldn't possibly cultivate and break through without anyone noticing. It wasn't just them. Everyone else watching this scene was equally confused. Die! Yu Liuping's eyes seethed with killing intent. The Zhao Feng who possessed the ninth god eye was far too bizarre, so he could not allow his foe to live. Yu Liuping swung his right hand, sending a massive golden blade exuding a piercing divine light at Zhao Feng. Primal Chaos Lightning Vortex. Although he had broken through, Zhao Feng would not underestimate his foe. Vast and pure primal chaos energy surged out, forming an even larger black hole. Swish! Tribulation lightning energy surged out, filling the entire black hole. The moment the primal chaos lightning vortex was completed, the golden blade slashed down. Boom! Bang! Bang! Two powerful energies clashed, sending streams of primal chaos energy and golden divine light into the surroundings. This kid's primal chaos energy is actually this powerful? Yu Liuping was alarmed. Although the God Martial race was ranked higher than the Heaven Mending race, in terms of divine power, it was inferior to the Heaven Mending race. The Heaven Mending race's primal chaos energy was one of the most invincible origin energies. Moreover, Zhao Feng's primal chaos defensive skill had been infused with tribulation lightning energy, increasing the destructive power of the defensive technique. Boom! Gradually, the golden divine light receded. Although a large hole had been made in the primal chaos lightning vortex, Zhao Feng was completely unharmed. He actually blocked it? God Lord Dreamcolor and the blue-haired old woman took in deep breaths. In the face of the same attack, the two of them had to work together to barely block it. But Zhao Feng alone was enough. Kill. Don't leave him alive. A hint of madness flashed through Yu Liuping's eyes. The strength Zhao Feng displayed after his breakthrough left Yu Liuping rather stunned. Vish! Zhao Feng activated his space-time law, leaving behind an afterimage as he vanished. With his small success in the space law and the boost from the 2 space ancestral artifact fragments, Zhao Feng's speed had increased significantly. He no longer had to fear Yu Lu Ping with his current strength. But this was a 3-way battle, not a one-on-one battle. Right now, the Light Tribe Divine Kingdom's victory was the most important thing. Normally, Zhao Feng, who had just broken through, would definitely want to test his skills and fight with Yu Lu Ping. Where do you think you're going? Yu Lu Ping immediately charged forward. This time, he had to kill Zhao Feng, or else there would be no end to his troubles. But even when he used his secret speed arts to their limits, he was barely able to keep up with Zhao Feng, unable to catch up. The space rippled as Zhao Feng's body approached the gray-black warship. Not good. Hurry and attack him. God Lord's stellar aspect watched as Zhao Feng rapidly approached, cold sweat pouring down his forehead, his heart thumping in his chest, and a sense of danger welled up in his heart. Swoosh! Countless beams of white light shot out from the warship, gradually converging on Zhao Feng. Although these ordinary divine power attacks could not compare to the Godkiller cannon, when they were gathered together, they still possessed extraordinary power. But this gathering barrage was unable to break through Zhao Feng's primal chaos lightning vortex. Zhao Feng did not slow down in the slightest as he smashed into the warship. Bang! A pitch-black lightning vortex crashed against the warship's defensive domain. The entire domain trembled, and cracks began to spread from the point of impact to the surrounding area where Zhao Feng had struck. Crack! The domain shattered, and Zhao Feng charged in. With a wave of his hand, he unleashed primal chaos energy. Swoosh! This primal chaos energy transformed into primal chaos swords that shot at the warship. Dodge! Hurry and restore the defensive domain. God Lord's stellar aspect immediately fled as he messaged the other 2. At this moment, the primal chaos swords bombarded various parts of the warship and exploded, causing the entire warship to tremble. The situation isn't good. The barrier generator has been destroyed. A Heaven's Legacy race elder said in panic. Even if there's a domain, it won't be able to protect you. Zhao Feng snorted as he charged at the Heaven's Legacy race elder. No! The elder paled in fear. At the same time, 2 second Heaven Death God Guards charged forward to protect the Heaven's Legacy race elder. But the Death God Guards were too slow. Before they could arrive, Zhao Feng had already arrived in front of the Heaven's Legacy race elder. Kakrek! The primal chaos tribulation lightning sword pierced through the elder's chest. Zhao Feng had broken through to the second heaven, so if he wanted to kill this second heaven elder, he would be powerless to resist. Kaboom! The primal chaos tribulation lightning sword suddenly swelled, transforming into countless streams of primal chaos energy that surged in every direction. In a flash, the Heaven's Legacy race elder's soul was obliterated by this energy. From the moment Zhao Feng attacked the Heaven's Legacy race warship to the moment he killed this elder, the entire process had been as smooth as flowing water, without the slightest pause. Zhao Feng, you're seeking death. At this moment, Yu Lu Ping furiously bellowed. After breaking through, Zhao Feng did not fight him head-on, but instead killed his clansman. This naturally infuriated him beyond compare. The battle between us and the Heaven's Legacy race hasn't been decided yet. Let's continue. Zhao Feng chuckled, his expression indifferent. At the same time, the vast army of ancient beasts and light race descendants flew over from behind Yu Lu Ping. Chapter 1509. As Zhao Feng awakened and began to counterattack the Heaven's Legacy race warship, the other ancient beasts and light race descendants who had fallen into the dream realm also woke up and began to attack the Heaven's Legacy race. I will definitely kill you! Yu Lu Ping shouted in exasperation. Zhao Feng considered the bigger picture and did not directly attack him. He damaged the Heaven's Legacy race warship and killed the Heaven's Legacy race godlord. In this way, the Heaven's Legacy race no longer had an advantage over the light race divine kingdom. You no longer have a chance. Zhao Feng snorted coldly and took the initiative to meet Yu Lu Ping. At this moment, boom! A massive space-time pressure descended upon the Heaven's Legacy race members. Previously, the Gray-Black warship had been protected by several meticulously laid-down arrays of the Heaven's Legacy race that could resist Twilight Valley's control over the Divine Kingdom, so they had not been affected. But later on, the warship had been heavily damaged, causing the arrays to no longer function, and one of the Heaven's Legacy race elders had been killed by Zhao Feng. At this moment, the Heaven's Legacy race had no way to deal with this pressure. Under the suppression of the Light Tribe's Divine Kingdom, the enemy's strength suddenly decreased. The lower one's cultivation base was, the greater the suppression. Yu Liuping's suppression was relatively small. In this sort of situation, Twilight Valley's absence would have an even greater effect on the battle. That detestable Light Clan Holy Kingdom. Yu Liuping's brow furrowed. With the warship destroyed, the Heaven's Legacy race would be suppressed by the Light Race Divine Kingdom. Chaos Thunder Disaster Sword. Wielding his sword with both hands, Zhao Feng transformed into a streak of light and charged at Yu Liuping. Golden Bright Palm. Yu Liuping pushed out with his palm, sending out a huge golden palm of light. It was incredibly solid, and there were ancient diagrams on it, giving off a majestic and boundless energy. Boom! Bang! Zhao Feng wielded his sword with both hands and slammed into the golden palm light. Chaotic force and tribulation lightning force surged wildly, and Zhao Feng directly broke through the golden palm. Xiu! After breaking through the golden palm light, Zhao Feng charged at Yu Liuping. This kid can actually break through my battle skill so easily. Yu Liuping was slightly shocked. Of course, this was also because the Light Race Divine Kingdom was suppressing the Heaven's Legacy race. Even so, in the face of the rapidly approaching Zhao Feng, Yu Liuping's fighting spirit overflowed, and he suddenly charged out. Boom! Bang! The heavens and earth shook. Powerful energy surged in all directions, shaking the heavens and earth. After a few moves, Zhao Feng fought Yu Liuping head-on and even gained the upper hand. Although Yu Liuping's combat skills were powerful and he had rich combat experience, however, Zhao Feng used his powerful primal chaos force and tribulation lightning force to simply and directly attack his opponent's weak points, destroying everything. Boom! Bang! Nearby, the other members of the Heaven's Legacy race and the members of the Light race once more began to battle. But the current situation was extremely unfavorable to the Heaven's Legacy race. The warship was damaged, and one of the Heaven's Legacy race members had been killed by Zhao Feng. Under the suppression of the Light Race Divine Kingdom, they were forced to retreat. Chaos Divine Sword. A miniature Chaos Divine Sword condensed in Zhao Feng's left eye and suddenly shot out. In close combat, Yu Liuping could not dodge and was pierced by the Chaos Divine Sword. Hiss! Yu Liuping cried out in pain. With the ninth God Eye, the eye bloodline techniques unleashed by Zhao Feng possessed extraordinary power. Zhao Feng used this moment to madly attack with the primal Chaos Tribulation Lightning Sword. Even Yu Liuping, who was using his martial god race bloodline, was gradually losing strength, his body covered in wounds. This can't continue. Yu Liuping began to worry. He had consumed a significant amount of bloodline energy in his battle with the illusion god's sacred land, and now that he was suppressed by the Light Race Divine Kingdom, his strength was being affected. And after his breakthrough, Zhao Feng's fighting power was extraordinary. In a direct battle, he was actually at a disadvantage. Coupled with the fact that the other members of the Heaven's Legacy race were also at a disadvantage, he finally realized how dangerous the situation was. Illusion God's sacred land, are you still not going to help? Once they push back the Heaven's Legacy race, you'll also suffer. Yu Liuping looked at the Illusion God's sacred land and cursed. He could only ask for help from the Illusion God's sacred land. At this moment, the ninth God Eye's side was the strongest on the battlefield. The Heaven's Legacy race and the Illusion God's sacred land were slightly weaker. This was all because after the Illusion God's sacred land used Boundless Nightmare, the sacred land and the Heaven's Legacy race began to fight, weakening the other side. God Lord Dreamcolor, do we really have to work together with the Heaven's Legacy race? The blue-haired old woman was somewhat unwilling. There's no other choice right now. God Lord Dreamcolor helplessly shook her head. Of the three factions present, the sacred land had suffered the heaviest losses. Although God Lord Dreamcolor also loathed the Heaven's Legacy race, they had no choice but to work together with it. Once the Heaven's Legacy race was defeated by the Ninth God Eyes group, the sacred land would be forced to flee. When the time came, the Light Race Divine Kingdom would retreat from the Chixing Zone, and it would be much more difficult for them to find it. Work together? A harsh light flashed through Zhao Feng's eyes. The Light Race Divine Kingdom did not fear any one of them. But if the Sacred Land and the Heaven's Legacy race worked together, they would definitely be able to turn defeat into victory. Of course, Zhao Feng had also anticipated this possibility. Primal Chaos Lock. Zhao Feng released a large amount of primal chaos energy that circled around Yu Luping and gradually began to retract. You want to trap this old man with just this? Yu Luping snorted. The red god devil image on his body swung its palms again and again, unleashing massive golden palms of divine light. But as he broke through Zhao Feng's primal chaos lock, he discovered that Zhao Feng was attacking the warship and the other Heaven's Legacy race members. Boom, bang, crash. Several primal chaos tribulation lightning swords slammed into various parts of the warship, severely injuring it. It was now only able to fly. At the same time, Zhao Feng's attacks were aimed at several Death God Guards and God Lord Stellar Aspects group. Dodge! God Lord Stellar Aspect, who was fighting with Xen Wuheng, suddenly sensed a primal chaos tribulation lightning sword shooting at him and hastily dodged. Although he had dodged Zhao Feng's casual attack, at the crucial moment, Xen Wuheng used this chance to strike God Lord Stellar Aspect. Plush! God Lord Stellar Aspect vomited blood and immediately retreated. Zhao Feng's intentional attacks instantly broke the balance in the other battles. A few moments later, the Light Race Divine Kingdom's advantage rapidly increased, and they were on the verge of completely crushing the Heaven's Legacy race. But at this moment, the members of the Illusion God's Sacred Land arrived. The other members of the Light Race needed to send the majority of their forces to stop the Illusion God's Sacred Land. Seeking death. Enraged, Yu Luping activated the ancestral artifact fragment in his hand and unleashed another golden slash. Zhao Feng was actually attacking the other members of the Heaven's Legacy race while holding him down, and he had even managed to achieve some results. This infuriated Yu Luping. Space-time barrier. Zhao Feng activated the 3 ancestral artifact fragments in the space-time robe, unleashing a silver barrier of light that overlapped with each other. As the golden slash cut into the space-time barrier, it encountered a powerful resistance. Moreover, it was also affected by the time law and slowed down. But Yu Luping would never allow Zhao Feng to have his way again. He attacked Zhao Feng from the other side. Space-time seal. Zhao Feng activated his left eye, activating a space-time eye bloodline technique. A space-time energy that was both real and illusory descended on Yu Liuping's body, placing an enormous restriction on him. At the same time, Zhao Feng moved back and unleashed several more primal chaos tribulation lightning swords with a wave of his hand. This time, his target was the Illusion God's Sacred Land. Zhao Feng's sudden attack caught the Illusion God's Sacred Land by surprise. Moreover, God Lord Dreamcolor and the blue-haired old woman had been severely injured in their battle with Yu Luping, and they had also been struck by the God Killer cannon. Coupled with the suppression of the Light Race Divine Kingdom, they could probably only use 60% of their strength. Some of the Primal Chaos Tribulation lightning swords had been destroyed, and some of them were sent flying. Ah! Screams came from the Illusion God's Sacred Land members. Even a casual attack from Zhao Feng would leave a layer of skin on their bodies. Anyone below the God Lord level would be instantly killed even if they were within range of Zhao Feng's attacks. I'll deal with Zhao Feng, you deal with the others. God Lord Dreamcolor called out as she charged at Zhao Feng. As for the blue-haired old woman, she entered another battlefield. The Illusion God's Sacred Land's participation in the battle had a huge impact on the overall situation. In the core of the Divine Kingdom, Twilight Valley activated his full power, increasing the suppression to the maximum and targeting the enemy. Boom! Bang! In the Divine Kingdom, the situation was unprecedentedly intense. The 3 factions were engaged in a life-and-death battle. The earth-shattering explosions never stopped. Everything in the vicinity of the battlefield was destroyed in an instant. The ground had completely disappeared. Zhao Feng, it's impossible for you to win. God Lord Dreamcolor angrily rebuked as she rapidly approached. All right. Yu Luping smiled. Although Zhao Feng's strength had shocked him, he was still able to defeat Zhao Feng. But now, against 2/3 Heaven God Lords, did Zhao Feng still have any advantage? As long as they could hold down Zhao Feng, the other members of the Light Race Divine Kingdom would be defeated by the combined assault of the Heaven's Legacy Race and the Sacred Land. Then I'll win for all of you to see. Zhao Feng showed no fear against 2/3 Heaven God Lords. Of course, these 2/3 Heaven God Lords were not at their peak, and God Lord Dreamcolor was even more severely injured. Moreover, she was being suppressed by the Light Race Divine Kingdom. Brat, you're too arrogant and conceited. Yu Liuping's expression was extremely gloomy. Zhao Feng was still able to boast in the face of 2/3 Heaven God Lords. Intrusive dream. Origin energy surged in Zhao Feng's left eye, causing it to shine with a dazzling and dreamy luster. At the same time, he used his origin energy to create a dream dimension. Intrusive dream, activate. In a flash, Yu Luping and God Lord Dreamcolor felt a powerful tug on their minds. But they were still 3rd Heaven God Lords, and their soul intents were not weak, so they were able to resist. But Zhao Feng's target had never been them. Vish. Zhao Feng swiftly left the area and headed to the other battlefields. Wherever he went, everyone's minds would feel a powerful and bizarre tug. More than 90% of the people present were instantly struck dumb. The majority of Zhao Feng's mind remained in the dream dimension, but a small part of it was controlling his body to fly around. In the dream dimension, all the enemy members who came here were instantly surrounded by danger while the members on his side were safe. In the outside world, one after another, the Illusion God's Sacred Land's members exploded and died. The members of the Heaven's Legacy race were all God Lord elites, but they were only able to resist for a few moments before the same fate befell them. 3 of the heavily injured Death God guards were killed by Zhao Feng's intrusive dream. The members of the Heaven's Legacy race had stronger soul intents and were lucky enough to survive. In the view of God Lord Dreamcolor and Yu Luping, Zhao Feng was just taking a stroll. Their members had inexplicably died. Stop. Zhao Feng, if you have the guts, come at me. God Lord Dreamcolor immediately shouted. The people she had brought with her this time were all elites of the Sacred Land, and only half of them were left. With Zhao Feng's actions, only a few people were left of the Sacred Land's members. She could not shirk the responsibility for such heavy losses. Chapter 1510. They could only watch as one of their own members died for no reason. God Lord Dreamcolor and Yu Luping were extremely agitated as they charged in pursuit of Zhao Feng. They knew that this was the 9th God Eye's ability. Otherwise, how could it be so absurd that they couldn't see through it? Wherever Zhao Feng went, the members of the Sacred Land and Heaven's Legacy race would die, but the members of the Light Race Divine Kingdom were fine. God Lord Dreamcolor and Yu Luping rapidly approached Zhao Feng. At this moment, Zhao Feng's main consciousness was in the dream dimension. His main body did not have much ability, so God Lord Dreamcolor and Yu Luping were able to quickly catch up. A good chance. This kid is using some sort of eye bloodline technique, but his main body has become extremely weak. Yu Liuping's eyes exploded with light. There was another secret art that was similar to Zhao Feng's current situation, the Space Transference Eye. When using the Space Transference Eye, one's soul intent would almost completely leave the main body. Attacking the main body at this time would definitely be the most effective. At this moment, Zhao Feng's main body's defenses were extremely low, and he had almost no ability to resist. Die! Yu Liuping's face was cold and sinister, and the golden fragment in his hand unleashed a dazzling golden wave of energy. At this moment, a divine light flashed through Zhao Feng's eyes. Although the majority of his mind was in the dream dimension, his main body was still perfectly aware of what was going on in the outside world. It's enough. Zhao Feng muttered. Just now, he had already killed many of his enemies. The moment he withdrew from the dream dimension, the minds of the light race and ancient beasts returned to their main bodies. After all, intrusive dream was an area of effect attack, and it could pull in both enemies and allies. These people all felt like they had just been in a dream. In the dream, the members of the illusion god's sacred land and heaven's legacy race died one by one, and when they woke up, their enemies really had fallen. The dazzling golden wave of energy shot toward Zhao Feng like a bolt of lightning. Quite a few people nearby were injured by this metal law and immediately retreated. Zhao Feng activated the 3 ancestral artifact fragments in the spacetime robe and unleashed a blade of silver light. At this moment, his spacetime robe had fused with 3 ancestral artifact fragments, 2 of which were space ancestral artifact fragments. This greatly increased the power of Zhao Feng's attacks. Boom! The silver light blade violently collided with the golden light blade wave, and in less than a moment, it pierced through the middle. This kid has 3 ancestral artifact fragments. Yu Luping was a little annoyed. He had just broken through to the second heaven, but he already had 3 ancestral artifact fragments. It was truly rare. One had to realize that not even third heaven god lords had ancestral artifact fragments. Boom! Yu Luping punched out repeatedly, shattering Zhao Feng's attacks. The situation is not good. This kid is too powerful. God Lord Dreamcolor watched the clash between Zhao Feng and Yu Luping, and then turned her attention to the other battlefields. In just a few moments, Zhao Feng had slaughtered almost all the second heaven god lords of the sacred land. And on the Heaven's Legacy race's side, 3 second heaven death god guards had been slain by Zhao Feng. The battle had once more become one-sided. Even though the illusion god's sacred land and the Heaven's Legacy race were working together, they were still unable to reverse the situation. God Lord Dreamcolor looked at Zhao Feng and the 9th god eye, her mind filled with apprehension. God Lord Dreamcolor, only if you and I work together and defeat Zhao Feng can we reverse the situation. Yu Luping messaged. Okay. God Lord Dreamcolor nodded. Yu Luping also backed down. What he said just now was not to kill Zhao Feng, but to defeat. As he sensed that the 2 third heaven god lords were working together, Zhao Feng's expression turned grave. After all, his enemies were 2 third heaven god lords, and both of them were extremely unusual. But at this moment, hisses. The winds and clouds shifted as that strange space-time pressure gradually weakened. What's going on? On the battlefield, the enemy members were confused. The pressure on their bodies had suddenly vanished, and they instantly felt extremely relaxed. The battle is about to end. This old man will personally take action. A spatial passage suddenly appeared in the sky, and loud laughter came from within. Swish! A white figure suddenly flew out. This was none other than Twilight Valley. At this time, the enemy members were at a disadvantage. Even without the suppression of the Divine Kingdom, they would find it very difficult to reverse the situation. Moreover, the enemy only had a few elites left. Previously, Twilight Valley had the advantage of being able to single-handedly suppress all of them, which was extremely effective. But in the current situation, Twilight Valley's suppression of these people was far less effective than him personally taking the field. One had to realize that Twilight Valley was also a third heaven god lord with the light race bloodline. Yu Luping and God Lord Dreamcolor both grimaced. Although their suppression had vanished, an even greater problem had arisen. Zhao Feng, leave this old man to me. Twilight Valley looked at Yu Luping, his eyes flashing with cold, killing intent. Okay. Zhao Feng chuckled as he charged at God Lord Dreamcolor. Retreat. God Lord Dreamcolor immediately ordered. The situation was getting worse and worse. If they continued to stay here, all the people she had brought with her might be wiped out, and her own life would be in danger. Want to leave? Do you think that's possible? Zhao Feng coldly sneered as he gathered Primal Chaos Energy and Tribulation Lightning Energy into a Primal Chaos Tribulation Lightning Sword. Swoosh swoosh. Countless bolts of Primal Chaos Tribulation Lightning Energy howled forward, sealing off God Lord Dreamcolor's path of retreat. A five-colored ribbon of light appeared in God Lord Dreamcolor's hand. She waved it around, transforming it into 5 dazzling streams of light that revolved around her, blocking all the primal chaos tribulation lightning energy. Hey, you're already an arrow at the end of its flight. Zhao Feng coldly chuckled. Using Boundless Nightmare had already consumed a great deal of energy, and he had also been injured in his battle with Yu Luping and the God-Killer Cannon. Although she was no longer suppressed by the Divine Kingdom, God Lord Dreamcolor found it hard to use much of her strength. Zhao Feng, when it's possible to forgive, one should forgive. If you let me go now, you can quickly leave this place yourself. God Lord Dreamcolor's tone became weak and helpless. At this moment, she was advising Zhao Feng to leave as quickly as possible. After all, it had been some time since the Sacred Land attacked the Light Race Divine Kingdom. Many of the experts waiting in the Chixing Zone for the 9th God Eye to appear might have already learned of everything and were on their way. Then I'll kill you as quickly as possible and then leave. Zhao Feng's expression turned grave. Now that God Lord Dreamcolor had given him this warning, he needed to treat this matter with caution. God Lord Dreamcolor's lips twitched at these words. Her advice had the opposite effect, prompting Zhao Feng to attack her with all his strength. Zhao Feng, it won't be that easy to kill me. Once the other experts get here, I don't believe that you can fight against the entire Chixing Zone. God Lord Dreamcolor coldly snorted and disdainfully said, It's not up to you to decide whether it's easy or not. Zhao Feng's eyes darkened, his left eye turning, and a miniature Primal Chaos Divine Sword shot forward. In a dark flash, the Primal Chaos Divine Sword pierced through God Lord Dreamcolor's body. God Lord Dreamcolor screamed as she endured the pain and continued to flee. The Illusion God race had a special constitution and was skilled in the Illusion Dao. Their soul intents were rather strong, so they had a certain resistance to the Primal Chaos Divine Sword. Primal Chaos Lock. Zhao Feng suddenly unleashed vast amounts of Primal Chaos energy, which transformed into several streams of Primal Chaos energy that engulfed God Lord Dreamcolor. Myriad transformations. God Lord Dreamcolor clenched her teeth and burned her bloodline energy. In a flash, her body began to multiply, and one figure after another charged out. This figure was none other than God Lord Dreamcolor. Then, a second and a third figure that looked exactly the same rushed out from within. Swoosh! 100 identical figures charged out of God Lord Dreamcolor's body, and each of them had the same soul energy and bloodline energy as God Lord Dreamcolor's. In the end, God Lord Dreamcolor turned into 1,000 identical figures that scattered and fled into the distance. How foolish! Zhao Feng was only a little surprised, but then he gave a disdainful smile. Anyone else would have immediately been confused and unable to tell the difference. 1 second was enough for God Lord Dreamcolor, who was skilled in speed, to escape. But all these confusing figures vanished before Zhao Feng's eyes. The real God Lord Dreamcolor had nowhere to hide. Lock. Zhao Feng controlled the streams of Primal Chaos energy to wrap around the real God Lord Dreamcolor. How could this be? God Lord Dreamcolor paled. A moment later, Zhao Feng discovered her true body. Boom. Bang. Crash. God Lord Dreamcolor took out the ancestral artifact fragment and unleashed an ice law to block Zhao Feng's attack. But Primal Chaos energy was almost unstoppable. This ice energy was incapable of stopping the Primal Chaos energy, and part of it was even absorbed by the Primal Chaos energy. In the end, countless streams of Primal Chaos energy completely surrounded God Lord Dreamcolor. Zhao Feng, if you kill me, the Illusion God's Sacred Land won't let you go. A look of despair appeared on God Lord Dreamcolor's face. She looked at the person in front of her with hatred and helplessness, but she still had to put on a pleading expression. Lock. Zhao Feng's expression was emotionless, his killing intent determined. Hisses. The streams of Primal Chaos energy instantly contracted and engulfed God Lord Dreamcolor. No! God Lord Dreamcolor screamed in despair. Gradually, a dangerous and forbidden energy began to emerge from the streams of Primal Chaos energy. Zhao Feng knew that God Lord Dreamcolor wanted to self-detonate in order to take him down with her. Intrusive dream. Zhao Feng once more activated his Dream God Eye Origin Eye Bloodline technique, and a soul-pulling force engulfed God Lord Dreamcolor. Don't even think about it. Let's die together, Zhao Feng. God Lord Dreamcolor did her utmost to resist, gathering up energy to self-detonate. But the streams of primal chaos energy engulfing her were constantly devouring all the energy in her body. Moreover, her mind was being pulled on by Zhao Feng's left eye. For the time being, she was unable to self-detonate. A few moments later, God Lord Dreamcolor didn't have much energy left in her body. Even if she self-detonated, Zhao Feng wouldn't fear it. Die! Zhao Feng grunted, his primal chaos energy transforming into countless chaos origin divine swords that pulverized God Lord Dreamcolor's body. God Lord Dreamcolor, the blue-haired old woman, the yellow-robed man, and the others all trembled when they saw Zhao Feng kill God Lord Dreamcolor. But a moment later, they threw caution to the wind and fled. This was because after Zhao Feng killed God Lord Dreamcolor, he raised his head and glanced at them, a glance that made their hair stand on end. Chapter 1511. The death of God Lord Dreamcolor dealt a massive mental blow to the remaining members of the illusion god's sacred land. And after killing God Lord Dreamcolor, Zhao Feng's gaze fell on them, causing their hairs to stand on end and their bodies to tremble in fear. Run! The old woman threw caution to the wind and used a secret bloodline art to flee toward the massive gap in the light race divine kingdom. This gap had been blasted open by the Heaven's Legacy race and had sustained considerable damage. Twilight Valley had been so focused on the battle that he had not repaired it. Want to leave? Zhao Feng coldly snorted as he activated his space-time law and instant movement. He had even killed God Lord Dreamcolor. One could say that he had completely formed a grudge with the illusion god's sacred land. Since that was the case, there was no need for him to be merciful. He would kill as many members of the illusion god's sacred land as he could, or else they would all become his enemies in the future. The space rippled as Zhao Feng rapidly approached the blue-haired old woman. The other members of the illusion god's sacred land could be left to his clones and the ancient beasts, but only Zhao Feng could deal with the third heaven old woman. The fleeing old woman watched as Zhao Feng got closer and closer. Zhao Feng was so fast that it seemed like he was about to catch up to her. She circulated her wood law and swung her jade staff. Kaboom! Her body glowed with green light, and then many thick wooden vines suddenly erupted from it. These vines seemed to have a life of their own as they surged toward the rear. Zhao Feng showed no fear in the face of the old woman's secret art. He swung the primal chaos tribulation lightning sword again and again, its dreadful destructive power obliterating all the wooden vines in front of him. Hisses. But these wooden vines had exuberant vitality and seemed to be able to grow endlessly. They emerged from the green light and continued to attack Zhao Feng. Just when Zhao Feng was about to go around it, the vines once more began to wrap around him from all directions. In this situation, Zhao Feng could only destroy the source. Primal Chaos Lock. Zhao Feng unleashed two enormous streams of primal chaos energy that shot toward the green source of light in the distance. In an instant, the chaotic turbulence swirled, enveloped him, and rapidly contracted. Under the suppression of the primal chaos lock, the power of the green light source was gradually devoured, and the giant vines between heaven and earth gradually withered. In the distance, the fleeing old woman was startled when she saw Zhao Feng resolve her secret arts so quickly. After personally witnessing Zhao Feng kill God Lord Dreamcolor, the blue-haired old woman had gained some understanding of Zhao Feng and knew that some of the secret escape arts of the illusion god race might be useless against Zhao Feng. Therefore, she came up with this move to obstruct Zhao Feng. Although it was effective, it was still quickly dealt with by Zhao Feng. Earth-shaking explosion. A large amount of chaotic energy gathered in Zhao Feng's left eye and formed a dark silver ball. The round ball instantly burst out and attacked the blue-haired old woman who was fleeing in front of him. The blue-haired old woman sensed Zhao Feng's ocular technique attack and prepared to dodge. Boom! Bang! Crash! But before she could even begin to dodge, the silver ball suddenly exploded. The earth-shaking explosion would explode once it struck its target, but Zhao Feng had only caused it to explode prematurely. A powerful and chaotic wave of divine power struck the blue-haired old woman's body. Although the strength of this divine power attack was not great and was not enough to seriously injure the blue-haired old woman, the space-time laws descended upon her body and affected her. Damn space-time law! The blue-haired old woman angrily cursed, her mind agitated. If not for the space-time law, Zhao Feng would not have been able to move so quickly, and she would not have been affected. She would have been able to smoothly escape. At this moment, a powerful ripple of divine power descended. The blue-haired old woman turned and fired off several waves of green light. Boom! Bang! Crash! The green waves collided with Zhao Feng's primal chaos tribulation lightning slash, but it only took a few moments for it to shatter. Let me send you to accompany God Lord Dreamcolor. Zhao Feng, brimming with killing intent, wildly swung his primal chaos tribulation lightning sword. In the face of Zhao Feng's powerful attack, the blue-haired old woman circulated her divine power to form a barrier of wood-grain light around her body. Boom! Bang! However, the wood-grain barrier did not last for long before Zhao Feng blasted it apart. The old woman was struck twice by Zhao Feng's sword, leaving 2 bloody gashes on her body as she was sent flying. Zhao Feng, God King Nethercloud will be here soon. You're doomed. The blue-haired old woman spat out a mouthful of blood and viciously glared at Zhao Feng. There was no need to think to know that God King Nethercloud was the God King of the illusion god's sacred land. In truth, Zhao Feng also found it strange that the God Kings of the sacred land had not moved. But Zhao Feng did not believe the blue-haired old woman. An enemy's words could not be so easily trusted. Perhaps the blue-haired old woman was planning to use this to disturb and frighten Zhao Feng so that she could escape. But this also made Zhao Feng wary. He needed to end this battle as quickly as possible and then leave. Dreamification. Origin energy surged out of Zhao Feng's left eye. Dreamy mist spun out of his left eye and seeped into the surrounding space. In a flash, with Zhao Feng at the center, everything within a certain distance was covered in dreamy colors. This feeling, the blue-haired old woman suddenly felt her essence, energy, and all aspects of her condition rapidly deteriorating. An indescribable sense of crisis also arose in her heart. Extinguish! Zhao Feng stared at the blue-haired old woman, his thought power forming an intense thought. Not good! The blue-haired old woman suddenly recalled that Zhao Feng had used this move before and inexplicably killed the majority of the illusion god's sacred land members. She immediately activated her bloodline and circulated her laws to resist this mysterious and unfathomable power. Unfortunately, after the consecutive battles and the use of infinite nightmare, he did not have much bloodline power left. Zhao Feng swung the primal chaos tribulation lightning sword at the blue-haired old woman. While maintaining dreamification, Zhao Feng's strength would decrease. But the blue-haired old woman was already at the end of her rope and was even weaker. Bang! The blue-haired old woman gritted her teeth and freed her hand to unleash a green ball of light at Zhao Feng's attack. But even more primal chaos tribulation lightning sword energy descended. While resisting dreamification, the blue-haired old woman's condition was even worse. Boom! Plush! The blue-haired old woman did her best to resist, but 3 sword energies still slashed at her body. At the same time, because she was distracted too much, dreamification took advantage of this and caused a small part of her body to dissipate. As a result, her injuries became even more severe. Zhao Feng used his primal chaos energy and tribulation lightning energy to unleash a powerful attack. No! The blue-haired old woman called out in fear as she took out her divine kingdom. A dark green passage appeared in the air, and she fled into it. But Zhao Feng moved with incredible speed, and before the passage closed, he had already entered. Elder? The yellow-robed man from the illusion god's sacred land couldn't help but call out in alarm. Logically speaking, escaping into one's divine kingdom should have the advantage. Swish! A little while later, another passage appeared in the air, and a silver-robed figure emerged. Now that Zhao Feng had come out alive, the illusion god's sacred land members knew the result. Zhao Feng had the absolute advantage. Even if the blue-haired old woman fled into her divine kingdom, she would still die. On the other hand, this divine kingdom was now ownerless and had been taken away by Zhao Feng. The blue-haired old woman was the second third heaven god Lord Zhao Feng had killed after his breakthrough. Of course, both the old woman and god Lord Dreamcolor were injured and not at their peak. After killing the blue-haired old woman, Zhao Feng continued to attack the remaining members of the illusion god's sacred land. After seeing Zhao Feng kill two-third heaven god lords of their sacred land, Zhao Feng's terror had been deeply engraved in their minds. Seeing Zhao Feng attack, they were scared out of their wits and began to flee. But with Zhao Feng's speed and attacks, he could easily kill these people. A few moments later, the illusion god's sacred land was completely annihilated. At this moment, Zhao Feng was looking at the distant Heaven's Legacy race battlefield. Yu Lu Ping and the remaining Heaven's Legacy race members were riding on a silver-gray metal disc as they fled. As it turned out, when Zhao Feng killed God Lord Dreamcolor and the blue-haired old woman, the Heaven's Legacy race chose to retreat. The metal disc was extremely fast as it fled, but Twilight Valley was not slow either. He followed closely behind, his face cold with killing intent. Zhao Feng immediately rushed over to intercept Yu Lu Ping. Zhao Feng, His Excellency the Heaven Lord is on his way. You're doomed. Yu Liuping's face was filled with hatred. Heaven Lord? The mention of this name caused Zhao Feng's heart to tremble. The Heaven Lord had left an extremely deep impression on him during his time in the Heaven's Legacy race Divine Kingdom. He was confident that if he faced the Heaven Lord now, he would be powerless to resist and would be doomed without even a chance of escape. Senior Twilight Valley, go repair the Divine Kingdom and prepare to leave. Leave this person to me. Zhao Feng messaged. The Heaven Lord was determined to obtain the ninth God Eye, and as a member of the Heaven's Legacy race, Yu Lu Ping must have immediately notified the Heaven Lord. Thus, Zhao Feng was somewhat worried. Okay. Twilight Valley immediately left. The Heaven's Legacy race was truly difficult to deal with. He would find it very difficult to kill someone of the same level. In addition, he had a deep understanding of how terrifying the Heaven's Legacy race was. If there really were some other experts on their way, relocating truly was the most important thing. Yu Lu Ping rejoiced. If he had to face both Twilight Valley and the Ninth God Eye at the same time, he was likely to die, but if he had to face any one of them alone, he was extremely confident in escaping. But suddenly, Yu Lu Ping sensed a familiar and powerful energy. This is the energy of the Heaven's Legacy race bloodline. Yu Lu Ping was alarmed. Was it reinforcements? But he did not call for reinforcements. At this moment, a dark silver light surged out of the gap in the Divine Kingdom. It's the energy of the Heaven's Legacy race, and it's very strong. Zhao Feng was stunned. Yu Lu Ping had said that the Heaven Lord was on his way, and now that this was happening, he even suspected that the Heaven Lord was coming. Kaboom! That dark silver divine radiance arrived in the sky and surged unceasingly. It turned into a huge illusory figure that emitted boundless might. This was a stalwart elder with a grizzled beard and hair. He had a simple gray shell on his back, and this shell was covered in many ancient and profound images. The elder's eyes were as deep as the universe, and as he looked down, he seemed to be able to see everything. Heaven's Legacy race. Within the Divine Kingdom, the Light race, the Ancient Beasts, and the Giant God race all felt like they were facing a powerful foe. Based on this person's features, there was no doubt that he was a member of the Heaven's Legacy race. Moreover, the aura and might exuded by this image made everyone present feel an immense pressure. It's not the Heaven Lord. Zhao Feng mentally muttered. Even so, the Heaven's Legacy race was unfathomable, so it was not strange for it to have a top-class expert that he had never seen before. Yu Lu Ping, on the other hand, was utterly shocked. Tianwu, Yu Liuping's mouth fell open, somewhat speechless. He had originally wondered if some expert from the nearby heaven-defying faction had come, but to his surprise, it was Yu Tianwu. Zhao Feng, we finally meet again. Yu Tianwu looked at Zhao Feng, a warm smile on his face. Chapter 15:12. In the light race divine kingdom, when Yu Tianwu's image appeared, at the edge of the Chixing zone, BZZZ. Swoosh. A spatial whirlpool suddenly appeared in the air, and a figure slowly emerged from within. This black-robed elder's black hair flowed like a pitch-black waterfall, and his deep black eyes gleamed with cold and sinister light. The moment he appeared, the surrounding space seemed to freeze and become extremely heavy. This person was none other than the God King expert of the Chixing Zone's illusion god's sacred land, God King Nethercloud. Ninth God, I didn't think that you would be in the Chixing Zone. God King Nethercloud softly muttered. He had received news that Zhao Feng had appeared in the Tongtai Zone and obtained the legacy of the heaven-mending race. In less than 2 or 3 months, Zhao Feng had traversed several major zones and arrived in the Chixing Zone. If not for the fact that this news had come from God Lord Dreamcolor, he would have never believed it. For some reason, even though he knew the exact location of the ninth God, God King Nethercloud still felt inexplicably uneasy. Once I obtain the ninth God, I might become a god again. But when he thought about the ninth God, God King Nethercloud found it hard to suppress his excitement. Just when God King Nethercloud was prepared to move out, he received a message from a high-ranking elder of the illusion god's sacred land. What? The Nightmare Beast King is about to break the seal? God King Nethercloud's body trembled. The Nightmare Beast King was a terrifying ancient beast sealed within the illusion god's sacred land that was close to the God King level. Its level was so high that even God King Nethercloud would find it difficult to tame unless he invited a God King level beast tamer. This requirement was far too harsh, so the illusion god's sacred land sealed it in its forbidden ground. Moreover, the invisible energy the Nightmare Beast King exuded was beneficial to the disciples of the illusion god's sacred land, allowing them to comprehend the illusion Dao and dream Dao. The Nightmare Beast King had also contributed to the illusion god's sacred land's prosperity and strength. The seal that suppresses the Nightmare Beast King is strengthened every 1 million years. There should still be 5,000 years left. Why did it break so early? God King Nethercloud was rather vexed. The Nightmare Beast King was incredibly powerful. Besides a God King, several third heaven god lords were needed to suppress it. And once the Nightmare Beast King broke through the seal, given its hatred for the Holy Land, it would definitely retaliate. At that time, the illusion god's sacred land would suffer a massive blow, and the entire Chixing region would also welcome a calamity. It could be said that once the Nightmare Beast King broke through the seal and was not stopped in time, the entire Chixing district would be destroyed. For a moment, God King Nethercloud was caught between a rock and a hard place. If he went to capture the ninth God, the sacred land and the Chixing zone would suffer an unimaginable disaster. He felt that all of this was too coincidental. Just as he was about to return to the Chixing zone to capture the ninth God, the Nightmare Beast King was about to break the seal. The illusion god's sacred land is the foundation established by the ancestors of the illusion god race for 10 billion years. It cannot be destroyed. This god also has a plan to deal with the ninth God. In the end, God King Nethercloud made his decision. He could not lose either. The dark clouds moved, and a black-robed middle-aged man appeared. This black-robed middle-aged man was his clone. He looked rather similar to God King Nethercloud, just like his younger self. Let's split up. God King Nethercloud called out, and then he vanished. The black-robed man flew off in another direction. God King Nethercloud's clone had 40% of his strength. Even if it couldn't capture the ninth God, it could still hold it down. Once God King Nethercloud finished dealing with the Nightmare Beast King, he could hurry over. At the same time, in the light race divine kingdom, a towering figure floated in the sky, causing everyone in the divine kingdom to stare at it with extreme solemnity. Zhao Feng, we finally meet again. Yu Tianwu looked at Zhao Feng, a warm smile on his face. Zhao Feng was stunned. It wasn't strange that someone from the Heaven's Legacy race knew of him, but from the other party's words, it seemed like they had met before. Why didn't Zhao Feng have any impression of him? Cling-clang. The little thieving cat threw out a few bronze coins, its eyes flashing. In the distance, Yu Lu Ping was alarmed. He had never imagined that Yu Tianwu's space transference figure would descend here. It seems like the Sage faction will still try to stop the Heaven Lord's plan. Yu Luping said to himself. Yu Tianwu took control of the silver-gray metal disc and swiftly left. Want to leave? Zhao Feng's expression chilled as he prepared to attack. But at the same time, he was rather confused. Wasn't this space transference figure also a member of the Heaven's legacy race? Why was Yu Luping madly fleeing in fear? At this moment, Zhao Feng, God King Nethercloud, has already returned to the Qixing zone. Hurry up and leave this place. Yu Tianwu slowly made his move. He only glanced at Yu Luping indifferently and did not bother with him. God King Nethercloud. The mention of this name caused everyone's hearts to tremble. God King Nethercloud was a God King expert of the illusion god's sacred land. Not even Twilight Valley was confident that he could last more than a few blows from God King Nethercloud. Just who are you? Zhao Feng immediately asked. Why was this person from the Heaven's legacy race informing them of this? At this moment, Zhao Feng was in no mood to kill Yu Luping. If God King Nethercloud really was on his way, God King Nethercloud would probably be here by the time he killed Yu Luping. One of my clones once lived in the Azure Flower Continent's 6 Warlock Divine Tower for a period of time. Yu Tianwu gave a simple explanation. 6 Warlock. Zhao Feng's mind trembled as he instantly understood. He had long ago guessed that the 6 Warlock Divine Sage was not simple, but he hadn't expected that the 6 Warlock Divine Sage was just a clone. Now, the 6 Warlock Divine Sage's main body had used a space transference figure to appear. The 6 Warlock Divine Sage had definitely guessed that Zhao Feng was the 9th God Eye, but he had not taken the eye. Thus, Zhao Feng speculated that the 6 Warlock Divine Sage of the Heaven's legacy race might not be an enemy. At the side, Exin Wuheng also revealed a shocked expression. You're from the Sage faction, right? Twilight Valley asked. When the Heaven-defying faction attacked the Light Race, the Sage faction had helped the Light Race, so Twilight Valley even had some impression of Yu Tianwu. The Sage faction. Zhao Feng understood. Many experts of the ancient desolate realm of gods knew a little about the Heaven's legacy race. This extremely intelligent race was not peaceful and was divided into 2 factions. One was the Heaven-defying faction, which defied the heavens. The other was the Sage faction, which followed the will of the heavens and assisted all living beings. This meant that the Heaven's legacy race members led by the Heaven Lord were probably from the Heaven-defying faction. And Yu Tianwu belonged to the Sage faction. This explained why the 6 Warlock Divine Sage had not taken Zhao Feng's 9th God Eye. That's right. If you have nowhere to go, you can come to where I am. Just as he finished speaking, Yu Tianwu's shadow suddenly dimmed a little. From this, one could see that Yu Tianwu's main body was extremely far away from the Qixing zone. The Light Race and Giant God Race members fell into deep thought. They could no longer stay in the Qixing zone, and Exin Wuheng hadn't even thought about where they should move to. The Sage faction truly was a safe place. Even if the sacred land found their tracks, it would not dare to behave atrociously in the Sage faction's territory. He had hesitated because he didn't understand the Sage faction very well and was worried. The Light Race shared his worries. Sage, just what is the Heaven-defying faction planning? Zhao Feng suddenly asked. He had spent some time in the Heaven-defying faction's divine kingdom and spent some time with the Heaven Lord, so Zhao Feng was confident that the Heaven Lord had some sort of plan. Something that the Heaven's legacy race and the Heaven-defying faction would fight over could not be ordinary. Zhao Feng even sensed that this matter was related to him. Otherwise, the Heaven Lord would not have paid such an enormous price to obtain the 9th God Eye. Besides the Heaven-defying faction, the faction most likely to know the answer was the Sage faction. The Sage faction and the Heaven-defying faction have not interacted with each other for a very, very long time. I'm not very clear on this point, and I don't have the time to explain. Yu Tianwu hesitated for a few moments before shaking his head. The space-traversing figure became even dimmer, seemingly ready to vanish at any moment. Senior, please tell this one the specific location. After some thought, Exin Wuheng finally made his decision. Twilight Valley was still hesitating. If Yu Tianwu was not deceiving them and God King Nethercloud really was on his way, the consequences would be unimaginable if they did not leave as soon as possible. This is the specific location of the Sage faction as well as the route. Everything is up to you. Yu Tianwu's figure grew dimmer and dimmer. He sent a message into the minds of Zhao Feng, Xen Wuheng and Twilight Valley. After doing all this, Yu Tianwu's figure completely vanished. Zhao Feng, what is your choice? Twilight Valley asked Zhao Feng. I want to go to the Sage faction. Zhao Feng firmly replied. Yu Tianwu had long ago known that he was the ninth god eye, but he had not moved. Moreover, Zhao Feng's current accomplishments were largely due to the 6 warlock sages' push. This also proved the Sage faction's motto, follow the will of the heavens and assist all living beings. As Yu Tianwu's figure vanished, a white figure suddenly appeared in Zhao Feng's mind, along with many questions. Back in the Chixing zone, Zhao Feng had seen someone extremely similar to Lu Qinxin. Had he been hallucinating? Why had the Fan Luan ancient sound palace of Sky Qin's sacred palace vanished? Where had the people inside gone? Perhaps the 6 warlock sage knew about Lu Qinxin or Lu Qinin's situation. In addition, if the Sage faction truly had no ill intentions toward him, it truly was a safe harbor. Twilight Valley was rather surprised by Zhao Feng's answer. Even Zhao Feng, the 9th god eye, dared to go to the Sage faction, so what did he have to fear? If the Sage faction and the Heaven-defying faction were enemies, he might be able to borrow the strength of the Sage faction to take revenge on the Heaven-defying faction. At the same time, in a certain large zone in the southern part of the ancient desolate realm of gods, 2 figures stood amidst the white clouds. One of them was Yu Tianwu, and the woman next to him was beautiful and noble, mysterious and ethereal. She was like a slender and elegant lotus in a misty lotus pond. Let's go. What needs to be done has been done. Now it's up to them to choose. Yu Tianwu's tightly shut eyes suddenly opened, revealing a look of exhaustion. Okay. Lu Qinxin simply said, her expression indifferent. The big lazy cat on her shoulder also yawned. It seemed to have no idea why the wise man and Lu Qinxin were here. Do you think he'll come? Yu Tianwu gave a gentle smile. Don't you already know the answer? A faint smile appeared on Lu Qinxin's beautiful face. Chapter 1513. Less than half a day later, a black-robed middle-aged man arrived at the destination. But there were no signs of a divine kingdom here, and the spatial structure was not very stable. It was clear that a high-level battle had taken place here. I'm too late. The black-robed man sent a message to God King Nethercloud. In truth, God King Nethercloud had already guessed at the result when he returned to the illusion god's sacred land. The upper echelon members of the sacred land would use a sliver of their soul origin to create soul jades, which would be stored in the sacred land. Once a soul jade shattered, it meant death. The soul jades of the sacred land members who had gone to the light race divine kingdom to capture the 9th god eye had all shattered. In these circumstances, the enemy had definitely fled. On that day, God King Nethercloud was enraged and attacked the Nightmare Beast King, sealing it once more. Afterward, God King Nethercloud dispatched all his people and even personally searched the Chixing zone for Giant God Hall and Zhao Feng. But after several months, there was still no clue. At the same time, in the heaven-defying faction Divine Kingdom, Yu Luping had a grim expression as he entered the Central Heaven's Legacy Island. Several divine emissaries, protectors, and even the Heaven Lord were gathered in the pitch-black palace at the top. Your Excellency Heaven Lord, with my original strength, I was definitely able to capture Zhao Feng, but Yu Luping got down on one knee and hurriedly explained. No matter what explanation you have, you still disobeyed my orders. The Heaven Lord's eyes were half closed, and his tone was flat, but it struck fear into Yu Liuping's heart. Yu Luping did not dare to retort, but there was one thing he had to say. This subordinate's failure this time was closely related to Yu Tianwu. Otherwise, the 9th god eye would have already been in our hands. At the mention of Yu Tianwu's name, the atmosphere in the palace instantly changed. The Heaven Lord opened his deep and boundless eyes. Tell me everything you know about this person in full detail. Although the divine emissaries present were not members of the Heaven's Legacy race, they knew the surname Yu and this name. Yu Tianwu was the leader of the Heaven's Legacy race's Sage faction. It had been a very, very long time since the Sage faction had appeared in their sights. They hadn't expected for the Sage faction to appear at such a crucial moment. At the time, the Light Race Divine Kingdom only had Yu Tianwu's projection. Yu Luping immediately told him everything about Yu Tianwu. In reality, his failure had nothing to do with Yu Tianwu, but by bringing this matter up, he could reduce the punishment of the Heavenly Lord. Looks like the Wise faction has some understanding of our plan. Now that we've reached a critical moment, I won't punish you. A sharp light flashed through the Heaven Lord's calm eyes. The heaven-defying faction's plans had always been strictly confidential. Not even the divine emissaries knew the specifics. But now that the Sage faction had suddenly appeared, he had no choice but to be on guard. Left Protector, how's the progress on the matter I asked you to investigate? The Heaven Lord turned to the Protector. The possibility of the Sage faction knowing about his plan was extremely low. What he needed to do now was to complete it as quickly as possible. At that time, everything would be a foregone conclusion, and even the Wise faction wouldn't be able to change anything. In the ancient desolate realm of gods, the ones most connected to Zhao Feng are the spiritual race and Giant God Hall. Now that Giant God Hall has moved, only the spiritual race remains. Moreover, the place where Zhao Feng first appeared was the Gulong Zone, the Protector slowly explained. The Heaven Lord wanted him to investigate everything about Zhao Feng in the ancient desolate realm of gods. Only by understanding everything about Zhao Feng could he find his weakness. The Xiling Zone, where the spiritual race resides, has the life god presiding over it. We cannot move against it right now. The Heaven Lord shook his head. This subordinate has also discovered that Zhao Feng has an extremely close relationship with the daughter of the spiritual race's prodigy, Zhao Yufei. One could say that Zhao Feng joined the spiritual race because of this woman. And now, this woman has left the spiritual race. The Protector smiled. You will personally carry out this mission. The Heaven Lord nodded. He felt more at ease with the Protector taking care of things. Down below, Yu Luping was startled. The Left Protector was also a member of the Heaven's Legacy race, a person of high status and authority. He hadn't expected for the Heaven Lord to have the Protector personally carry out this mission. However, this also meant that the Heaven Lord was determined to obtain the 9th God Eye. Zhao Feng was doomed. On the other end, Zhao Feng and Giant God Hall rode on the Light Race's Divine Kingdom and began the long journey to the Sage faction. The location given by Yu Tianwu was extremely far from the Chixing Zone. But this was also fine. They could avoid the trouble of the illusion god's sacred land. Along the way, everyone was in seclusion. The Light Race shouldered the mission of vengeance and needed to get stronger. Giant God Hall was also facing an enemy in the form of the illusion god's sacred land. Under pressure and humiliation, it was easier for people to stimulate their potential. At this time, Zhao Feng was also in the Divine Kingdom, beginning his long seclusion. He had just broken into the second heaven, so he needed to spend a great deal of time consolidating his cultivation. Every time he cultivated, he would restrict himself in various aspects and seek out opponents within the Divine Kingdom to temper himself. Unknowingly, Zhao Feng had spent 10-some years consolidating his cultivation. Of course, this was all within the Divine Kingdom. In this period of time, Zhao Feng's primal chaos energy had made significant progress, and among his other intents, his lightning intent had successfully advanced to the level of a law. Perhaps this was because Zhao Feng had a lightning soul body, or perhaps it was because the dream god Eye had improved in terms of comprehension, allowing him to unexpectedly break through to the level of a law in the lightning Tao. Besides consolidating his cultivation and increasing his cultivation, Zhao Feng spent the majority of his time on the dream god Eye. The dream god Eye had already reached the god Eye level, but Zhao Feng still had not been able to fully use its power. This was also limited by his cultivation. Besides researching Dream Eye bloodline techniques, Zhao Feng had not forgotten his previous path. Long ago, he had an idea. He wanted to fuse primal chaos energy into the tribulation lightning eye flame, or perhaps fuse the primal chaos divine sword into tribulation lightning energy. Now that Zhao Feng could easily use the primal chaos tribulation lightning sword, and he had also comprehended a law in the lightning Tao, it was much easier for him to experiment with eye bloodline techniques. Swish. Lightning symbols appeared in Zhao Feng's left eye. At the same time, a miniature primal chaos divine sword formed within it, and the two slowly fused together. All of a sudden, a sword of lightning shot out. Wherever it passed, it left a twisted scar in the air. The primal chaos divine sword fused with tribulation lightning energy had significantly increased its penetrative power and power. But Zhao Feng was not completely satisfied. His original plan was to fuse the tribulation lightning eye flame with the primal chaos divine sword, giving it an extraordinary power that could be unleashed instantly. Although the primal chaos lightning sword that Zhao Feng had comprehended was fast, it could not be unleashed instantly. There was still a chance of dodging it. 3 years later, the light race divine kingdom arrived at the western part of the ancient desolate realm of gods, the Thousand Mountain Zone. The Thousand Mountain Zone was adjacent to the Thousand Mountain Zone, and the Tianhe Zone and the Tongtai Zone were two of them. Zhao Feng was rather surprised that the Sage faction was hiding here. Back then, Zhao Feng had been captured by the heaven-defying faction in the Tianhe Zone, and then he had offended the Tongtai Zone's Golden Dragon sacred land. The Tongtai Zone was probably still searching for him. However, he was confident that if he hid in the Sage faction's territory, the Golden Dragon sacred land would not be able to find him. Deep within the Misty Mountains, Exenwuheng, Twilight Valley, and Zhao Feng arrived at a cold and desolate valley. "This is the place," Twilight Valley softly said. At this moment, buzz. In the distance, the mist surged, forming a path. After passing through the path, a mysterious and beautiful land that seemed like a paradise appeared before everyone's eyes. The Sage faction's territory was a place of verdant hills and limpid waters. Shrouded in mist, it appeared mysterious and serene, as if all the clamor had left the mortal world. When the group arrived, they inexplicably calmed down. "Welcome, everyone. Lord Heaven Shaman invites you." Not far away, a sage in a pitch-black robe said gently. At the same time, his eyes examined Zhao Feng. Under the guidance of this sage, the group began to walk through the territory of the Sage faction. The world was a vast expanse of white, but in this pure white world, one could see the tips of many black towers. And in the center of this world, there was an unusually majestic, mysterious, and ancient pitch-black tower. The Heaven's Legacy race, the Sage faction. Exenwuheng found it difficult to calm his excitement. The Heaven's Legacy race was the third-ranked mythical race, and he was about to meet the leader of the Heaven's Legacy race's Sage faction. Each of them had countless questions and problems in their minds. The Heaven's Legacy race was the most intelligent race. Perhaps Giant God Hall would be able to obtain the guidance of fate here. Upon reaching the top floor, the group realized that there were only 5 people in this quiet and spacious space, making it seem rather empty. They focused their gazes on the 2 people in front of them. One of them had an appearance completely similar to the projection that had appeared in the Light Race Divine Kingdom. The woman next to him was serene, mysterious, and beautiful. Sage Zhao Feng was stunned. He had originally planned to ask Yu Tianwu for help. Where had Fan Luan Ancient Sound Palace and Lu Qinxin gone? Why did he see a woman who looked extremely similar to Lu Qinxin in the ancient desolate realm of gods? But now, this mysterious woman who looked extremely similar to Lu Qinxin was standing right next to Yu Tianwu. Of course, Exenwuheng and Twilight Valley were also rather surprised to see this white-clothed woman. Back in the Light Race Divine Kingdom, when they had fought with the Heaven's Legacy race's Yu Heng, they had seen a figure that looked extremely similar to this woman, and that cat had also been there. So that's how it was. Was it the Sage faction that helped the Light Race? Twilight Valley inwardly sighed. It seemed that the Sage faction was truly different from the Heaven-defying faction. He had made the right choice this time. As for Exenwuheng, he felt that the woman before him was very familiar. "Just who are you?" Zhao Feng carefully examined the white-clothed woman. "Feng, we meet again." At that moment, the other party said with a complicated expression, "Are you Lu Qinxin or Lu Qinin?" The woman's words caused Zhao Feng's mind to go blank. A name is just a code. All you need to know is that I am that person. It doesn't matter what you call me. Although the woman in white had a calm expression on her face, everyone could sense her joyful mood at the moment. It really is you? Qinshin. Zhao Feng found this somewhat hard to believe. The woman before him really was that person from the continent zone. Since she had said that Lu Qinxin and Lu Qinin were both her, it didn't matter what she was called. Zhao Feng chose the name Lu Qinxin. After all, he had more memories of this name. Meow meow. At this moment, the little thieving cat leapt out of the interspatial dimension and looked around with wide eyes. At the same time, the big lazy cat on Lu Qinxin's shoulder opened its lazy eyes. When it saw the little thieving cat, it immediately revealed a look of disdain. Meow meow. The little thieving cat grunted and puffed out its chest. It glanced at the big lazy cat provocatively. Chapter 15-14. The conversation between the two cats shattered the atmosphere. Within the tall tower, several experienced sages looked thoughtfully at the little thieving cat. Zhao Feng coughed and looked at Yu Tianwu. Although Yu Tianwu had already said that the 6th warlock divine sage of the continent zone was one of his clones, Zhao Feng was not as familiar with Yu Tianwu as he was with the sage. Sage, just what is the background of this cat? Zhao Feng pointed at the little thieving cat and asked. The Heaven's Legacy cat was the highest secret of the Heaven's Legacy race, so Yu Tianwu definitely knew about it. The question was whether or not he was willing to talk about it. I didn't think that the Heaven's Legacy cat at your side had already grown to this level. Yu Tianwu said in surprise as he carefully examined the little thieving cat. Zhao Feng looked at the big lazy cat on Lu Qinxin's back. The little thieving cat's recent growth was mainly in size and the changes in the patterns on its body, but it seemed that the big lazy cat was not one bit inferior to the little thieving cat. The big lazy cat had always been very large, and its body was covered in many silver stripes. The Heaven's Legacy cat was originally implanted with the bloodline of the Heaven's Legacy race, and it also had other abilities. It was the best partner for the Heaven's Legacy race. But later on, the Heaven-defying faction used the Heaven's Legacy cat to carry out the ancient race duplication project. Yu Tianwu's sudden words left Zhao Feng stunned. The Heaven's Legacy cat? The ancient race duplication project? Zhao Feng blurted out. Yu Tianwu's words shocked Exen Wuheng and Twilight Valley. This cat was actually related to the ancient race, the number 1 race of the 10,000 ancient races. They had heard that the Heaven's Legacy race wanted to control the ancient race bloodline, but they had no idea what the specifics were. The ancient race bloodline is too powerful. Less than 1 in several billion people can safely fuse with it. But the creatures created by the Heaven's Legacy race can be modified. Moreover, once the Heaven's Legacy cat successfully fuses with the ancient race bloodline, it means that the Heaven's Legacy race can also fuse with the ancient race bloodline. Yu Tianwu revealed a shocking matter. Twilight Valley and Exen Wuheng were stunned. As expected, the Heaven's Legacy race wanted to control the power of the ancient race. Then this thieving cat. Zhao Feng hadn't expected the little thieving cat to be hiding such a secret. It was no wonder that the Heaven's Legacy race desired the Heaven's Legacy cat so much, even nurturing it. It turned out that it was for its bloodline. At the same time, Zhao Feng was pleasantly surprised. The little thieving cat was so powerful. If it was properly raised, it would definitely be of great help. However, your Heaven's Legacy cat is a failure, Yu Tianwu said again. Zhao Feng was stunned. The little thieving cat was a failure. Meow meow, the little thieving cat immediately became extremely dissatisfied. It gestured and said that it was unique and not a failure. Although it's a failure, it's mutated, creating many variables. It's already broken away from the original Heaven's Legacy cat produced by the Heaven's Legacy race. Although it doesn't have the bloodline of the ancient races, it seems to have the ability to simulate the bloodline of the 10,000 ancient races. Yu Tianwu continued with a smile. Hearing this, the little thieving cat didn't pursue the matter any further. Imitate the 10,000 ancient races? Zhao Feng carefully thought about it and realized that this was indeed the case. The little thieving cat could use the secret arts of many bloodline races, but it could at most imitate 10 some ancient races. The top 10 bloodlines were much more difficult. Of course, according to Yu Tianwu, the little thieving cat still had room to grow. With this, Zhao Feng's puzzle about the little thieving cat was solved. Sage, why did you send your clone to the continent zone? As they chatted, Zhao Feng realized that the sage was rather easygoing, even revealing the highest secrets of the Heaven's Legacy race. Thus, Zhao Feng also became more casual. The dimension outside the ancient desolate realm of gods was called the outer dimension, and there were countless dimensions similar to the continent zone in the outer dimension. Why would the leader of the sage faction, Yu Tianwu, leave a clone in the continent zone? What was his goal? The little thieving cat? Or the ninth god eye? The Heaven's Legacy race is a race from beyond the heavens. You should know this, right? Yu Tianwu was rather surprised, clearly not expecting Zhao Feng to ask this question, but he still answered bluntly. Beyond the heavens. The crowd was startled. The Heaven's Legacy race truly had suddenly appeared in the fan universe during the ancient era. The world beyond the heavens had always been a mystery to them. The original civilization of the Heaven's Legacy race was destroyed, and it split into several branches to explore the primal chaos world beyond the heavens. Our branch inadvertently fell into this strange world and became unable to communicate with the outside world. I am currently searching for a chance to leave this place. Back then, I deduced many points of opportunity, and I have clones in almost all of these dimensions. The continent zone that you live in is one of them. Yu Tianwu explained the reason. As it turned out, there were many small dimensions in the outer dimension that had Yu Tianwu's clones. The 6 Warlock Sage was just one of them. Leave this place? Zhao Feng still couldn't understand this, and neither could the others. Up until now, no one had ever left the fan universe, and many of the great powers of the ancient era believed that this was the only world. Later on, the arrival of the Heaven's Legacy race shattered this belief. This chance might be on you, Yu Tianwu said. Of course, Yu Tianwu couldn't be certain of this. The ninth god eye had too many variables and possibilities. Zhao Feng said nothing. He didn't know much about the ninth god eye. Yu Tianwu said that the chance for the Heaven's Legacy race to leave the fan universe was on him, and Zhao Feng couldn't help him. In addition, Zhao Feng was still skeptical about this point. No one had left the fan universe for countless years, and even after the birth of the 8 great god eyes, he had never heard of such a theory. How could this possibility appear just because of the 9th god eye? Then what is the heaven-defying faction's goal? Zhao Feng asked. The heaven-defying faction was also a member of the Heaven's Legacy race. Could their goal be the same as the Sage factions? Leaving the fan universe. Their goal might be the same as ours, but this old man isn't sure what they are planning. However, I can speculate that once the heaven-defying faction's plan succeeds, the entire ancient desolate realm of gods will suffer a calamity. Yu Tianwu thought for a few moments before sighing. I feel like their goal is different from the Sage factions. Twilight Valley coldly snorted. He felt extreme hatred for the heaven-defying faction. He did not believe that they would commit such despicable acts for this goal. I don't know this yet, but the heaven-defying faction's plan is definitely connected to the 9th god eye. Thus, Zhao Feng, you should stay here for now. Once you can completely use the power of the 9th god eye, you won't have to fear anything. Yu Tianwu voiced his thoughts. This was also what Zhao Feng was thinking. He rather trusted Yu Tianwu's conjectures. Of course, Lu Qinxin was also part of the reason. If the heaven-defying faction succeeded, it would wreak a massive calamity on the entire ancient desolate realm of gods. He did not want to see this. The last ancient war had caused the entire ancient desolate realm of gods to fall apart. The 10,000 races had suffered heavy losses, and some had even been wiped out. If such a thing were to happen again, who knew what would happen to the fan universe? We've also disturbed you, Xian Wuheng politely said. On his first day at the Sage faction, he had learned of such an astonishing secret. It seemed like his choice had been correct. Zhao Feng, Giant God Hall, and the Light Race remained in the Sage faction for the time being. Lu Qinxin, where did your Eye of Destiny come from? Zhao Feng looked at Lu Qinxin in confusion. In the continent zone, Lu Qinxin didn't have an eye bloodline. A legacy from the Fan Luan Ancient Sound Palace. Lu Qinxin calmly said. So the Fan Luan Ancient Sound Palace was actually this special. Zhao Feng softly sighed. The Fan Luan Ancient Sound Palace had not only given Lu Qinxin an eye bloodline, but it had also allowed her to ascend and enter the ancient desolate realm of gods. How did you come to the Sage faction? Zhao Feng continued to ask. Although Lu Qinxin was noble and mysterious, calm and elegant, Zhao Feng felt a sense of familiarity. After taking Zhao Feng to his private residence, Lu Qinxin left. Just like that, Zhao Feng's group temporarily resided in the Sage faction. The Sage faction also had quite a few crystallizations of the Heaven's Legacy race's wisdom, which were beneficial for cultivation. The little thieving cat was also nowhere to be seen, apparently exploring the place. When Zhao Feng wasn't cultivating, he could also see Lu Qinxin. Although they didn't seem to have much to talk about, once they started to talk, they would forget about time, as if their conversation would never end. In the Sage faction, Zhao Feng used several years to completely consolidate his cultivation. He began to cultivate the primal chaos scripture and advance to a higher level. He originally believed that the following days would be peaceful and uneventful. One day, Yu Tianwu once more invited Zhao Feng over. The atmosphere within the tower was solemn. What bad news is there? Zhao Feng sensed that something was wrong. Anything that could make the Sage faction so serious could not be good. The heaven-defying faction is determined to obtain the 9th God Eye. You hid for several years, so they thought of another way to force you out. Yu Tianwu said. It really is related to the heaven-defying faction. Zhao Feng's eyes focused. Feng, martial ancestor, and I have deduced that the heaven-defying faction might attack Zhao Yufei. Lu Qinxin stepped forward, a complicated expression on her face. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.